Do you have the cover up or
No, it's just starting off with our first review.
I'm just gonna try again.
Okay. No, you got to go to live. You're at home. Alright, does it not have us?
Doesn't seem that way.
Alright.
Are we sure? Yeah, it's maybe we just go for it.
Yeah, alright, we will go for it. Alright. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to WAYPN.
The weekly WAYPN.
Okay. The weekly WAYPN. I'm Cal.
And I'm Sunny.
AKA
Henry and Sangita.
And we have with us
Larry Hassenflew.
Alright, so we're going to be starting off with RJ Warren.
Oh, yes.
Alright, well.
So I will read out le post. Oh, no. Oh, no. Look what it has done. It has made it go all the way to the top once again.
Yes, of course it has.
Maybe you read this one for the time being.
Alright, I will read this one. Okay, last whip of this probably. I think he's got a few more whips of this along the way. Got a bunch of little things to teddy up.
Teddy up.
Yep, and a few things to I think a few things to get to, as well as some OSL, and then should be a wrap. Now, I do believe that we have a few more of this, but Larry, would you be able to give your thoughts on this piece?
Well, what I really like about it is the skin.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It looks just sick and diseased, like it's about ready to start rotting off his body.
Yep.
It's very well done.
Yeah.
I do like that he's paid attention to a lot of these details. I think like the stippling effect on the skin, like Larry said. I mean, look at that face. It's so flared off. And even the other tortured souls around the bottom, he's come up with all that sort of like tortured skin look.
You were saying something, Larry?
Oh, I was going to say also, like where the skin is bound by the ropes or whatever that is.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it's redder. And irritated.
Yeah.
Which is a good touch.
Yeah, I think it's really good, but I'm going to move on from this one because I think we see a few updates on this one. So I won't go into it in too much detail. All right, up next we have
Thomas. And effects of today, or rather tonight's session, I'm still looking for inspiration for left badge heraldry. So for now, it stays as it is. As usual, metallics will be a final touch.
Well,
what do you think, Lee?
Well, I love the blue.
Yeah.
Love the blue.
It's my favorite color.
Yeah,
but
me
like
too.
on the red and white badge on the shoulder there, it's got a good shading.
Yeah, amazing shading.
Particularly on the red there, and the skull thing on the arm is very clean.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I forget what that's called. The
Crux Terminatus.
Oh, the Crux Terminatus.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that with this particular piece, Tomas has followed one of our video's advice.
Oh.
And he's used the analogous shading technique.
Oh yes, for the cape. Yes, I saw that, and I was just like, yeah, because I noticed those hints of purple in it, and doesn't it come up nicely? Just the cape. I think that like the cape looks so nice. There is those hints of white, but I think those hints of white are quite possibly reflections of the light. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, but it's fitting. And it does make it way more dynamic when you use more sort of different colors of tones. So coming along very well.
I would agree with that. Do you want to comment on the cape at all, Larry?
It does look a little glossy.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's the white is more from shine. Than paint.
Maybe a matte varnish might help with that. I'm not too sure.
Well, see, like I don't think that a sort of semi-gloss is bad for the armor, because
Yeah.
it is obviously an armor, but I think maybe a matte on the
Just a cape.
so to make it feel like a different material. But let us move on to our next post.
Ooh, we've got Nur Iskandar bin Nuruddin.
Yes, and there's an important note because he mentions his YouTube tag as well.
Hi all, I just wanted to introduce myself and share a photo that I took. Psst, I am Shaku77.
Yes.
And wow, check out this model. So it's your turn now, Larry. Your turn.
Well, this takes me back to watching Dragon Ball days.
Yeah.
It's a cute little figure. The shading is very well done on it. I mean, it looks like you picked it up off a shelf
I agree.
At a store somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I would agree that it looks like it's picked up by off a shelf, but it's like the thing is, you can tell that he's put a lot of work into it just through the shading, and it looks like he's doing a lot of airbrushing work.
It does seem that way, yeah, because it must take a lot of control for him to get like all those really nice shadowing down, because it's not very big at all. So yeah,
I like the shading. I think everything looks really good with the shadowing. It fits exactly what we're doing. So when it comes to that, you take a look at it, and it all feels like it's within the DBZ universe. That type of shading feels very comic booky. You know, his hair doesn't feel like very vibrantly shaded, and it feels like it fits within the universe, if that makes sense.
The bloodshot eyes, I think, really helps.
Yeah, I'd agree 100%.
Yeah.
All right, so let us move on to the next one. So,
and we got Lance in the Promised Progress Report. Too much of a special piece to rush. What do you think so far?
Well,
Larry,
what do you think of this character? Because I believe you might have caught this one live at the cinemas one time.
Yes, it's a Skeksis. I love these guys.
Yeah.
I think the purple is the right shade to do for it. I think in this he still has to finish the hands, but I'm not sure. He's got like a finished version later on. An update.
Well, if he's got a finished version later on, let's move on from this one, and we'll comment on the finished one, because if he hasn't incorporated our whip changes, then it'll be a bit useless. So we'll move on from this one.
Oh, okay.
And we'll wait until we see the finished product. Next up, we've got Calvinoni working on some terrain pieces from Archon Studios. A favourite of ours.
Yes.
But is it a favourite of yours?
Mr. Larry.
I do like it. It reminds me of Castle Grayskull.
You're not wrong. I was looking at it and I'm just like,
You guys may not know this reference at all, but if you watch like definitely maybe Captain Hook, like Peter Pan, there's Skull Rock.
Oh right,
it looks like Skull Rock.
Is that where it's from?
Well, no, okay. I don't think it is, but I think it's like generic enough that it fits both.
Definitely, and that's what I was thinking of Pixie Hollow, and I was like, yeah, you guys won't know Pixie Hollow, but you will know Peter Pan. It's all in the same universe. It's just that they focus on the pixies, and that's for the girls, and then Peter Pan is for the boys, and Captain Hook and whatnot.
I see. I thought you were trying to say that Pixie Hollow was in the same universe as He-Man, and I'm like, I am not keeping up at all.
No, it's not.
All right, and how about this one, Larry?
Ooh.
That one's good. This one and the skull, I like that. Neither of them are just gray.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of different colors of stone out there, and I think most of us don't use all of those colors.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, me too. and we tend to just go, okay, great, it's simple, it's easy, and it's a neutral color, like you've said. But this looks really good. It looks like something from the Middle East or something.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing that I think is that the white could have been brought up a lot more in this spider's web. But other than that, I like everything else with it.
I like its look Greek, like Greek sandstone.
Oh, and yes, if you could read this one out,
We
please.
got Rams 192 of 192 total finish. So most members have seen these guys over the last year, but as of today, I am officially finished painting everyone in my Marvel Zombies board game. A lot of them I have posted in the past, and I have taken the advice and improved them. If you are trying to paint lots of models from your box of shame or a board game like me, don't let the numbers or task ahead of you keep you from picking up the paintbrush. I painted them 6 at a time and before I knew it, I was at 10, then 20, and then 40, but just finished a system that works for but just find a system that works for you and enjoy yourself. Anyone who goes to Heretic's Haven on the Sunshine Coast, let me know if you would like a game of Zombicide. We'll be happy to get these guys to the table. Remember to keep those brushes wet.
Yep.
What a great message.
Yeah, no, a great message. So, Larry, have you done any massive projects in your time?
Not as such. I'm trying to get one started here during the next month if I can clear off the table of what I'm working on right now. I've got like the Stompa box to get through. I've got 2 Leviathan boxes.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how I ended up with that, but I've got those and all the figures for the Thing and Alien board games that I want to get through.
Yeah, well, I hope that the page will help you get started on that project, because the reason why I'm not actually commenting on any of the artworks here is because, as James said, we've looked at all of these.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think that it's so important to have these moments of reflection, because what we do is we get it all done, right? And then we just sort of like and we just stop.
Yeah.
And we don't really think in the way that we should, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, we should celebrate our successes.
And I think why James is very proud of this achievement is because he's a regular bloke.
Yep.
He's not like some competition painter or whatever. He was pretty much a beginner painter when he started this project.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's trying to show everyone out there, like, look, you might feel like you don't have the adequate skills to pull something like this off. Look at me. Yep. I didn't. I for sure did not have it. But I managed to finish it. And in fact, I improved since I tackled the project, because it gave me an excuse to improve.
Exactly.
And I think once you see it from that perspective, it might not seem as intimidating after that. And I think we should all try to learn from the lessons that other people try to teach us.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And there's a reason why James is one of the people I featured in the upcoming post. So I will check to see if it's... Oh, it's not the next post. It's a little while off yet. But Larry, I got to ask you, what did you think of Design versus Law Night Lords?
That was interesting. I didn't know anything about the Night Lords either.
Okay.
I'm still pretty much a newbie when it comes to Games Workshop. So I'm learning about all these things too.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it's entertaining for people who have no idea, as well as the people who do know, because there was a lot of Night Lords that came out of the woodworks, and they're very vocal, and they're really surprisingly positive.
Yeah, I really like doing the Ave Kawabunga short. It's still my favorite short.
All right, well, let us move on. Larry,
it's Larry.
You have to read out your one.
Yeah, because the rules.
Oh, let me get back to it. Okay, knocked out a couple of things quick because I could. First is a brain in a jar. Are they brain preserves? Anyway, brass and bronze shaded with copper and null oil and highlighted with gold. I wasn't really sure what to do about the color of the brain itself, but after I took a look at it in the picture, I kind of got sold on how the colors looked. It's basically a light gray with a thin pink glaze on it. Calling it Abby, and so know why.
I don't know the reference, unfortunately for me.
All right. Well,
watch Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein.
Well, I tell you what, I think that it's come up very, very nicely. I very much like the steel appearance, but I think you could have gone a bit heavier with the Nuln oil, or some sort of version of it. They don't sell it anymore, do they? The Null oil gloss. I'm not sure if they sell it still, but if they sell Null oil gloss, it's really good for metallics, because I feel like some of these highlights didn't come up as well as they could have. Yeah, but I feel like when it comes to all of the brain itself, just absolutely amazing, just pops out. And I also liked how you colored the buttons and such.
Dave says it's been a hot minute since he's seen Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. No, and apparently they don't sell the
the Nuln oil.
The Nuln oil gloss anymore.
And he said it's also good for black marble.
Yeah, the gloss. It was a very, very good paint. I've still got some of it somewhere. But
there's a thing about GW sometimes I don't understand. We've said many things, in support of them and many things in against them. But one of the things is that I don't get why they get rid of products that work. It's so weird. Ooh! We've got a person. Shock. It's a shock. It's a shock. Hello. Yay. I knew this would happen. As long as there was someone else
Sunny has gotten excited, so let's calm for a second and let him
gets
speak.
To speak. I think. Decided not to talk. Scared him.
Yeah, with an intro like that, who wouldn't be scared? Welcome, Shock, and welcome to the review. So, next up, we've got more by Larry Hassenfeld.
Oh, yeah. This was my favorite post.
Well, I finished this right after I saw the videos where you're talking about being scared of ghosts. I was like, you might want to avert your eyes.
Yeah, I knew what you would say.
Otherwise, this is a little figure called Gus. When I did the mummy, someone had mentioned just airbrushing directly from below for the glow effects. That's what I did on this. It's just a simple airbrush of white with the fluorescent turquoise actually from behind, and the base is Darth matte black. And some fluorescent blue in the cracks.
I think this is perfect.
Yeah.
As compared to the mummy. The mummy was good too. I think
it was good, but I feel like this is a lot better. Welcome, Shock.
Okay. Did he say hey?
Oh no, here we go. I think he's coming through.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry. I'm working and watching at the same time.
Okay.
Good,
no worries. If you want to mute, that's fine. Yeah, okay.
Enjoy being here.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so I think that you learnt all of the lessons from the mummy, but one question that I really want to ask you, because I played around with it too. How did you find the Darth Black?
I actually really like it so far. It's not quite as black as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But it's still blacker than really anything else that I have. excuse me, it brushes on well, and if you thin it, it'll airbrush fine. I don't remember if I airbrushed this or hand brushed this. I think I did it by hand, but after I did the blue inside it, I went back over the individual bricks with a brush and just painted it on.
Yeah, and
it
that
went
comes
on
up
very
great.
smooth. Yeah, it's not as I've seen some reviews of it online, and they talk about, oh, it's so fragile, and I haven't run into that yet. And I didn't put any varnish over this one, but I did on the mummy, and I didn't notice the matte varnish changing the dark effect, the deep black of it at all, really. Which I've heard some people say that it does. So maybe it's a different varnish that I used. I don't know. But I've really been enjoying it, and I'm using it a little bit in something else that I'm working on too.
Well, I have to say this I think is like, there's no criticisms that I can give to this one, because I think that's one of the things that is really important for reviews, when somebody hits the targets that they were trying to hit. And if you take a look at this compared to your mummy project, when I take a look at this, it's as if you took every single note from the mummy project, put it on a new project, and it just hits in all of the right ways. Because we take a look here, I like you guys to focus on the sort of tummy area for a second, right? And take a look at how that shading goes, right? And then take a look at it in here. So we still see some of that shading come through, right? It's very subtle, right? It's not too intense, but it is there. You've got that shading. You've got all of these little elements here, right? And none of it feels out of place like this. But then, once we move on, look at that. Look at how it just comes to life, right? And it feels like you took all of those notes from before and you just put them in and fully realize them.
I think another thing that with this project that I think you might have sort of figured out is that you've got to choose one or the other. Like, do you want it to look good without the UV, or do you want it to look good with the UV? And unfortunately with this, you've got to choose one or the other. So I think because he's chosen that, yeah, obviously if I'm using UV, I want the UV version to take the,
well,
precedent.
I don't think it looks bad like this.
Yeah, but it's underwhelming compared to when you see.
Yes, but I mean, like that
you know?
that's what an effect paint is always going to do.
So and I think that was a good choice on Larry.
All right,
Okay.
so we will we'll move on. But yeah, I just wanted to say, man, like, I think that you really hit it out of the park with this one.
So cute.
Thanks.
Spoopy boy.
All right, and next up we've got
Chester J. Atienza. Hello, I just want to ask if there is a difference. I tried glazing on the coats in the second picture. I'm sorry for the bad quality of pictures. I find that glazing those made a smooth transition to the highlight colors.
Okay, so
What do you think, Larry? Do you see anything different?
I don't see a lot color-wise, but it does look smoother.
it does look smoother,
which is that's usually my experience when I'm doing a wash, is it helps to smooth out and blend colors together. So instead of layers, you end up with, it's not as good as, say, maybe wet shading or wet blending, but it comes close, I think.
I like that you call it wet shading. It's funny because it does work in that way too.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this in this picture.
Yeah. So you want me to go back?
Yeah, and this guy had done, like, if he's done the glazing on this particular guy yet.
Okay.
But when I compare him to, like, the front people, it looks, I can see the difference.
You can see the difference?
Yeah, that, like, it's smoother. Yeah.
Well, I think since he's asking specifically on feedback for that, we won't go into too much anything else, because I feel like it might not be finished yet.
Yeah.
Like they do look very finished, but I feel like there's something that needs to be added to their bases, and he's trying to get a very specific effect. But I do like just the muzzle burn on the flamer here, but I do feel like there's something missing from the base, and that these guys need just a little more oomph. But
Yeah.
that's often the way it is with like more historical style
I
miniatures.
see.
And next up, we have.
Genres. Here's another addition for my bolt action US Army done. The M8 Greyhound was a fast-moving scout, which mostly operated on roads, which is why I went for a dirty look instead of my normal mud and grass look that I use for tanks. I used 3 different pigments to build up color and texture, as not all dirt is the same color. I also tried a new recipe for doing chipping on the front corner near the flags.
Well, Larry, what do you think?
I love it. This is exactly the kind of thing I always wanted to build since I was a kid. This kind of level of detail. Usually this kind of realism, I don't usually see it on most miniature channels. Like in Reddit and all that. It's usually reserved for like the scale modelers, which
Yeah.
But I love that he's gone for this realistic look for it.
I would agree 100%. I love how he's done that sort of like dirt mud splatter that goes all the way up to the top.
I think that he's
especially over the star painted on.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with that. So I actually think that his dirt recipe that he's used here is much better than his usual mud recipe. I think that it's come out a lot better. It feels a lot more realistic, especially along here where you see bits of the splatter, right? So the thing is, people think of mud in sort of monotone terms. It's just like it's a splatter and it'll all be the same color, but see, it's not. You see how it fades in the middle? That's what happens with mud, it'll soak into the fabric a bit, and like the bits where it hasn't dried, right, that's where it will have the more intense color.
Yeah, so would you still consider this like a muddy look?
Yeah, no, I'd still
I feel like it's still muddy.
Like, I think it's a dirty look, but what I was more trying to put out is the way in which he has done it. I really like, but I think his dirty recipe I think is absolutely fantastic.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Do people, like in the war, do they take time to clean these trucks before they go to the next one, or like in between things, or do they just don't care, they just leave it as is?
I'm not enough of a historical buff to know for World War II and such, and I'd have to ask friends about how they operate overseas. So I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, sure.
If we're talking specifically World War II, I would say in most cases no, unless they have a chance for a break.
Yeah.
Because they were pretty much fighting constantly, and you don't really have time to just keep clean.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
All right, let us move on.
We have Tomas once again.
Tomas?
To be honest, I've got a bit tired painting this guy and wanted to finish him already. Probably sooner or later I'll get back to him and we'll refine some details. I have some cool idea for ornamentations on sword and bolter, but first I have to improve my freehand skill.
I see.
And what do you think, Larry?
Is that ultramarine symbol on his
Yep.
left chest, is that painted on? I thought it was a decal at first.
Yeah, no, he painted it on. He painted it on.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I think
he did. I can see the sangit, a bit of sangit there. Like,
yeah,
there,
yeah.
Like, yeah. It's definitely painted on.
That it is.
That's impressive.
Yes, that's one way to. That's one way to call it.
Really interesting heraldry that he's got like two ultramarine symbol, but just interchange the colors between the top and the bottom.
And before I go on, I'd just like to throw to the commenters and just say, guys, if you have any comments on any of these pieces, feel free to add them, and we'll bring them up. And yeah, so
what are you
please...
thinking of the cape, Larry? Because now it's
I was
sorry.
not as glossy.
Yeah, not as glossy. Yes,
I was about to mention that. Yeah, it looks a lot deeper and richer red, I think, than it did before, and I think it looks really good, a lot better. Maybe put a little bit of black in the areas down at the bottom where there's supposed to be like little holes.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. So there's a couple of things that I noticed, right? And this was the first one. So he said that he's gotten a little sick of painting this guy, and I can see why. He's put a massive, massive amount of effort in, right? Just absolutely chronic. And the thing is, I think when it comes to that, there's some things which are not matching due to differing skill levels. So, for example, right, we see this absolutely beautiful, beautiful freehand when it comes to the ultramarine symbol, right? And then the text seems very lapse up,
yeah, it could have been refined a bit more, I think.
And so one of the things that I'll say to Tomas is, like, try and work on your text stuff, because it's obvious that you've got great, control. You've got great brush control.
Yes.
And when it comes to all of that, I take a look at this and I just think to myself, you take a look at this and you take a look at that, and it just has these clashing ideas in it. But I'm going to throw to you for a second, Larry, to say if you wanted to add anything else.
Not really. Just I get the idea of fatigue on working on a figure, because some of these things have just so much. You're like, I'm in the middle of that with one right now that I've been working on since November.
Oh my god,
no.
That's too
long.
No. I keep just shoving it off to the back because I'll finish it later.
Fair enough. I just like to point out, like, his face was really wonderfully done.
Well, no. See, I thought that it lacks dimensionality. It doesn't have a lot of shadowing. Hi, Raven.
Hey, you managed to come on. I'm not so sure about like dimension. I feel like I can see all the
It needs some more
creases.
shadowing, I feel.
Maybe another coat of Gilliman flesh contrast. I don't know, but I think he's got like these bloodshot eyes or something. I think that's cool.
So there's some things that I wanted to point out, right? So, like, the other thing that I wanted to point out was, you guys remember how we said how nice that shading was with the red there?
Yeah.
And then he's sort of done this scale pattern on with it. And then he's done the ultramarine symbol over that.
Yeah, and it kind of took away
from the shadowing. Yeah,
I would agree.
And see, I think when it comes to some more advanced painters like Tomas, because the reason why I'm giving this level of feedback to him is because I feel like he's put that level of effort in.
Yes.
Like, often people will not say whether they're going for character level or showcase or whatever, right? But I feel like this is just a few shades shy of showcase, right? So that's why I'm trying to give this level of feedback. I absolutely love the swords gradient, but there's one other thing. So the base looks absolutely fantastic, except for the Tyranid head. And the reason why I want to bring that up, right, is with this Tyranid head, you see how all of that dust and stuff has collected on it?
Yeah.
The thing is that animals won't collect dust in the same way that machinery and stone will.
Oh, okay.
Right, so it makes it feel, it sort of breaks that level of verisimilitude.
Yeah, you think that it's like a Tyranid statue, painted statue, rather than like an actual Tyranid.
So because like dust will sort of grime on skin, you
Yeah, okay.
rather
yeah, fair
than
enough.
so you could have it like grimy along here, but you see how it's collected. It feels like
It's repelling
yeah, no,
off the skin.
it feels like John's vehicle from before, rather than like skin.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, so I'm sorry if the feedback seemed very harsh because this is a great model to Mars, but the reason why I'm giving that extra level of feedback is because I feel that you've done that extra level of work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think it's time for us to move on.
It is time for Joseph.
It does seem like it's time for Joseph.
I was hoping to finish these goat riders this weekend, but instead I opted to put a nail through an upstairs water pipe and gain a downstairs shower and spend 24 hours running around panicking while waving my arms in the air. All fixed now, so hopefully I can get these finished this week. The goats are done. I just need to finish the gold and its inlay, then I can assemble rim and varnish.
All right, so what do you think of the downstairs shower job goats, Larry?
Well, I think they're beautifully done. I love the how he's going for a natural look.
Yeah.
It looks like he's had a picture of the goats in real life, right next to him as he was painting them.
I feel like it gives it that autumnal look. Like it has those golden greens and the rich browns, and pair that with the warm golds. Like it I feel if this was a elven riding companion, like it wouldn't seem out of place actually. Although elves do not ride goats. But but I feel it's got that something that I can't quite place. It's just the colors are so yummy. What do you think?
I think that it looks really nice. So these are for a game called Hordes. And so these are meant to be they're almost eco bad guys. The word starts with a T. But yeah, I shouldn't say. They're very terrifying. That should clue you into what the word is.
Yes.
Yeah, Larry, you get it now, don't you, Larry?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, there's certain words that we're not meant to say on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes.
Which is a bit silly because it's not as if we're trying to promote it or anything, but I think that's sort of what they're trying to prevent.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that unfortunately these guys have a small case of the googly eyes.
Oh yeah, he always ends up messing up the eyes in the end, and everything else looks perfect. And
yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on the dudes themselves, Larry?
I like the green.
Yeah.
On there, they're very well shaded. It's a good color choice too, combined on them. There's a picture of them on the goats later on. I have some comments on that.
Oh, okay. So this is still. So then we got
okay. So we shall move along with it. Okay, I'll just read out. Oh no, I can't read.
You can't read?
It's Larry's.
You can't read. I can't read.
I can't read. Legally blind. It's Larry's turn to read. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I've been working on that one big mech, and I had to create a base for it because I didn't have one. So I put that together. I think it looks okay. I wasn't sure if there was anything more I should do to it. Once the figure gets attached to it, there's some more stuff that I need to do to tie it in together, like, put dirt on the feet and, pigments and that kind of thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
But just by itself, I'm thinking it looks okay.
So, when it comes to MechWarrior and other games like it, so for example, what's that game? Not Epic.
Battletech?
Oh. Yeah, no. So, BattleTech is the game, isn't it? It's not MechWarrior, isn't it? I'm thinking of something older, aren't I? MechWarrior and BattleTech are sort of
like same thing.
Yeah, potato sort of thing. But BattleTech is this game, isn't it, Larry?
Yeah, MechWarriors, the video game.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. It was also the cartoon series, wasn't it?
There was a BattleTech cartoon. Yeah.
Oh, was it called BattleTech, not MechWarrior? I thought it was called. Anyway.
No, it was. Yeah, I think it was BattleTech.
Yes. Well, we will all test our memories on this one. But the other thing I was trying to refer to is it's no longer called Epic, the Warhammer game. I think it's called Legio something. Legio Imperialis, maybe?
I wouldn't know. You always look at me like I know these things. I don't know these things.
Welcome. But one of the other things that I wanted to get into was and feel free to come and join us.
Come in if you're able to, of course. I know some of you guys are working. If you're able to, share your feedback, please feel free to come on and share your feedback. Poor Larry here is all by himself, and we are torturing him. We are telling him to do the review by himself while we nod along in silence. Yeah. So it's up to you guys to help
save him.
Help him.
But one of the things that I wanted to point out, it feels so scale appropriate. Until the mech.
The mech is put on top. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, because this is a very, very, very big mech in the game, isn't it?
Well, it's not actually in the game, but the source material it's from is. In BattleTech, there's a lot of there's a lot of the original models that were taken from the Macross Robotech series.
Oh, yep.
And this is in that same class of mech, but it was never actually put into the game. So this, from the original anime, this would be about 50% bigger than a usual mech.
Oh, that's pretty big.
But they scaled it down to size to go in line with the BattleTech game.
So it's massive, right?
Yeah, it is.
Because and see, this is the problem I have with a lot of these things. So I felt like this was just such a beautiful little river sort of thing and that sort of thing, and then it's just this hunkin' great robot on top of it, and I'm like.
Yeah, it has to fit on the game board.
Yeah. I know that's probably what it has to fit the tile.
But see, I'm not sure whether it's scale appropriate or not, because I'm not sure whether say Atlas is the biggest one I know of. Would the Atlas be about here, right? On his shoulder?
Thereabouts, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's so honey, just so you know, this guy is absolutely huge.
Like
Atlas,
Titan huge? Or?
Yeah, like Titan huge.
That's
so bigger than most of the Titans you've seen. So the Atlas is meant to be like the sort of default biggest mech, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Would that be correct? The Atlas is known as sort of when I say the default biggest mech, there are mechs that are bigger than it, but if somebody has an Atlas, it's we're in trouble.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, if it's bigger than an Atlas, it's massive. So it's really hard when you're sort of at that level. But RJ, if you want to join us, please feel free. Leave a small opening. Nope. It's okay.
I would give input, but I know nothing about this stuff.
It's all right.
It's okay. We're just commenting only about the painting and obvious stuff like does it fit? Does it look weird?
Yeah.
Things that are obvious to you, which is what we try to tell Larry as well. Don't worry too much about whether or not you've got the skills of the high heavens, so all the knowledge in the world. Most of the times it's the obvious things that people miss, and then they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I should probably fix that.
Mm-hmm.
So give whatever comes to mind. Yeah.
What you guys said earlier about it looking like it's without the robot on it, it looks like you said, it's part of a world map or something. It looks like the scale is
way off.
Really, really you're looking at far off view of a cliffs and ocean and stuff, a coastline.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
The guy does look very big. But next up, we've got John Ross.
Oh, back with his truck. I can finally post the completed Opel.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that one.
Blitz truck for my bolt-action German army. I finished painting it last Thursday, but I suspect I threw away the decal sheet when I was busy cleaning up. Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, we had that experience once, didn't we?
You were very upset.
I found them again though.
I managed to find some spares. Like the M8, I went for a dirtier than muddy look, as trucks like this were used mostly on roadways instead of open fields.
So, Larry, would you like to give us your thoughts?
Well, when I first looked at it before I had read the post, I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be rust or dirt.
Yeah.
I would agree with
being
you on that.
dirt, it looks really good. If it was rust, I'd say they would decommission that. They wouldn't be using it anymore. But but it's dirt. I'm guessing it's supposed to be North Africa, based on the color scheme. I'm imagining it's like a desert brown underneath with dirt over the top of it. I do really like the decals, the way he's got it.
Oh yeah, he does great work with the decals. Yeah.
Yeah, he integrates it in, having the paint show through underneath, the paint of the vehicle show through underneath the the chipping, stippling effect on there, and same with the on the back.
Yeah,
it just makes it look very natural.
Yes. I'd agree with you 100% on that. But this is another one of those curse of the historicals, because when I take a look at these helmets, right, I have the distinct feeling that they're historically accurate, because I think I've talked with him about this before, and he's just like, man, don't give me a hard time. That's what they chose. Like, I just feel like, what camouflage does this match?
I don't know.
But
before we continue, I thought maybe if RJ wants to share something,
yeah, for sure,
and then we'll say our things.
No, I don't really have anything to share.
All
Sorry.
good. All good.
It's okay.
We just want to try and make it a bit of an open space. So, like, if you got something to share, it's cool. If you don't, you don't. It's cool. But yeah, no, because I think always getting more voices is better than having less, because that's why we love having guests on this, because we think that they'll often spot things that we won't. And other people have knowledge that we don't.
I would 100% agree, because a lot of the times when we've had guests on, they point out things that Cal and I miss, like 90% of the time. So that's why it's very important that we have more people say what they think. But I will agree with what Larry said, because I thought that immediately when I saw this. I was like, is it rust or is it dirt? Because like, I feel the dirt wouldn't go that high, right? Like it just completely covers.
I feel like it's a bit hard to determine when it's camouflage or when it's dirt with this color scheme. You know, in particular, I think that's a weakness of this color scheme, maybe rather than of how it's painted itself. If you understand what I'm saying?
Because I feel like he might have put the pigment powder all the way to the top. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know either way.
On the other hand, if it is a North Africa campaign that he's setting this in, then dust storms, it could get coated real fast.
Oh,
yeah. So it might be another one of the
fair
historical things. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. Well, let us move on, and I think. Oh, we've got one more. It's Genuine Vision, who does not love us
today.
No, he doesn't love us.
He does not love us today. So today we have to go all the way to the bottom of his post
to read his text.
Quick wee whip update on our friendly wee dwarf mercenary. Made a start on his helmet and scale armor today. Wanted a rougher, more hammer forged feel to the armor, so the numb is all stippled brushwork. Still not today totally done, but a happy start. Such a fun bust to paint oozing character. Hope you like.
Well,
But I
Larry?
don't like.
This is one of the few non-metal metallics that I've seen that I actually like. Most of them I really don't care for. I don't think they read as metallic, but this does.
Yep.
Yes.
And I think it's that stippling effect that he's talking about, because
right
it's
here.
little pinpoints of light rather than like a block here, a block there, or trying to make everything a gradient.
Yeah. Yeah, RJ, did you want to say something?
Oh no, I was just going to agree that it's definitely really well done.
Agreed.
Yeah, no. Genuine Vision, Stephen. He's an amazing painter, but since he doesn't love us today, we will punish him with a shorter segment until he starts putting text back into the specifically WAYPN ones. But it's definitely not because I'm jealous of him or anything. Okay, definitely not. All right, so I just need everybody to note that before we move on.
Oh, well, but let's look at the leather that he's done.
We've moved on.
We've moved on.
Yeah,
but there's so much.
I think with this one, I mustn't have clicked it, so I'm gonna click this one before. Let it.
I did give some feedback.
Oh yes.
On this one.
Did you?
In the comments section, I did.
All right. Would you like to read the post, your comment, and then throw it to Larry?
Okay. Frank McCohen. Finally finished all the details and based them. I say, I really love this color scheme of a coral orange, blue, and gold. But I must say I'm not sure if it's just the lighting. But the Marine without a helmet, his skin is looking a bit... And Frank has said that it is the lighting, and he's posted an updated picture within the comment of how it's meant to look.
Should I?
You can have the original and then maybe pull up the other one if you can, the comments.
Oh no! Please keep working, machine. I'm going over here because it's making the noise.
Okay, let's. Unfortunately, we have to give up on this endeavor.
We'll take a look at these ones and we will throw to Larry.
Yes,
all right,
Larry, what
your
do you
thoughts?
Well, I'll let Henry talk about the base. The color isn't my personal favorite, but it is beautiful. It is the shading on it is very smooth. The gradations between the darker and the lighter coral, red, orange color. I'm not sure what you would call it. And I know nothing about color schemes for the Marines other than some of the Ultramarines, but having the blue helmet in that one guy, I think really makes it stand out.
Yeah,
very much.
Yeah,
so.
I would agree with that. The only thing that I want to comment on the actual Marines themselves before I move on to my ranting about bases, it seems my reputation precedes me.
Of course.
But look at that muzzle burn. It's come together beautifully, but I feel like it's a bit too much of a neutral purple instead of that sort of violet when it comes to the edges of some of them.
I feel like it's a good shade of purple.
Well, it might be the photo itself, because here it looks very nice, but here take a look at this picture and it looks more like a purple than a violet. You see what I'm saying? Because remember that this comes through natural reflection of natural light, and when we see natural light, it's violet, not purple.
Yeah. If you are able to pop open the
other one,
the updated picture
let's
is very
see.
different. The whole look is quite different.
So we will click on this and we will hope for the best. All right, Facebook, will you curse us?
Ta-da!
No. Oh yeah, so it seems it's quite an orange red rather than that more coral look.
It's a proper red that he was going for, like, because it's blood angels.
But see, it's got a lot of orange highlights. You know, but
yes, I think he mentioned he highlighted with orange.
Warren, do you have anything to add?
I actually prefer the coral red of the other pictures, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that looks like a a really, really nice red-orange color.
I would also think that it's quite unique. We don't really see this color choice as much with Marines.
Yeah.
So I think it gets people excited with something like.
But the basing, I think, is absolutely spot on. So I like how he's added some gravel and then let it go back to the normal base, right? To give the idea of there's some build-up of gravel and that sort of thing. He's got the different shrubs there, right? The most important thing when it comes to basing, right, is that it should complement the miniature and it shouldn't take away from it, right? And at every point in time, every time I've looked at these, I've looked straight to the miniature rather than the base. And I know that sounds like not a compliment of the basing, but it is. Because the thing is, that means that it's not taking away from it. And when I look at the base, how my brain sort of looks at it is I look down, I look at it, and I go, yeah, that checks out. And that's what you want with basing, right? When you go beyond that, you're really sort of being extravagant with your basing, which I like to do, but like this is spot on in my opinion.
I think the only thing that's missing is a little bit of pigment powder at the boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering this sort of ground.
Yeah, not a lot though.
Yeah, just a teeny
because it feels
bit.
more like gravel than it feels like dusty dirt.
I see.
Yeah. But I think it's time to move on. All right, so
Got a lance.
we do have a lance. I will see if yes. So this is the one you were talking about, Larry, wasn't it? This is the finished product, is it, or?
Yeah, this one, and he's got one that has a few of them together.
Okay. Yep. All right. Would you like to read out?
Okay, I think I'm done with this. A lot of little details and undercuts I may not fuss with fixing. Hope you like it. I will sleep on it and see how I feel about it in the morning. Already questioning if the ribbon on the back needs more color depth. Let me know your thoughts.
All right, Larry, your thoughts?
Well, he's got the coloring in on the hands, which looks very good, and I really like the extra coloring on the face.
Jump back.
It brings it in a little more to that, and it looks a little more like the film version, I think. But overall, very good color choices. For everything, it makes me want to watch the movie again.
I guess that means
Makes
he
you
did
feel
a good
nostalgic.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to agree. I 100% agree because I loved that movie when I was a kid, and I was going to point out the same thing, that they were going for the same, because I remember from the movie that it was like, oh, his face, like it was like fur and feathers, but it was kind of bluish. It wasn't just straight black. And I think that that's what they were really going for. And like you were saying, it makes me want to go back and watch the movie again.
What do you guys think about the sort of bone and cloth thing on his back? I don't know how to describe it.
Ornament?
Yeah, ornament, I guess, is a great way of saying it.
I think maybe the red could use a little more highlighting or maybe shading instead.
What about you, Warren?
I didn't look at it in the movie, so I don't know how to think of it other than treating it as what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Well, see, like I feel like you guys have pretty much said everything that I was thinking about saying. And I think one of the other limitations here is we've got to remember that he's trying to imitate something here. So like when I take a look at the sort of feathery cloak that he's wearing, I think, that could use some more depth, but does it match what's on the film? And if it matches what's on the film, and as far as I can tell from you guys, and all of your memories, because I do not have vibrant memories of this film. It is a half-forgotten dream kind of thing for me. If it fits, it fits. Like, that's the thing we've got to do. We've got to match our feedback to what people are aiming for.
Can you show me this movie?
Yeah, Ghost?
Well, it was. I was just going to say that it's kind of a tricky thing because first you've got nostalgia and like it's like a distant memory, and then second off, a lot of the scenes where the Skeksis were running around, they were in someplace dark, like it wasn't super well lit, and so it's one of those things where like it might look a certain way and you remember it being dark and sort of drab and everything kind of blending together in the darkness, but like if you looked at a Skeksis in a well lit room, suddenly it like it's got colors that pop or something. Who knows what
that's a fair point. That's a fair
exactly.
point.
I guess it's like seeing the Addams Family set, rather than seeing through the black and white. If you guys have seen that, because that will blow your mind. You'll just be like, "Oh my god, I couldn't believe how colorful it was." But we'll move on. Sorry, you were trying to say something, Warren?
No, I was agreeing.
Yeah. So, it is my mad ramblings. Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's see if I've spelt anything correctly. Not if I have misspelt anything. If I've spelt anything correctly. All right. It's Member Monday. #Member Monday. And whoa, look at those names. We have 1 or 2 people who have joined us. So let me begin in the same way that I do every week with a different flavor. It's not just me and Sunny that makes this place. It's you. You are what makes a digital place. And I'm super proud of the place we have made. So let's give a shout out to some names. Ashley McDonald. He may not be a big painter, but he always gives quiet support to everyone. Joseph Mullen is always smashing out miniatures and is happy to give a conversation. Joe R. Sutton is our master storyteller. Alex Cohen Brushstroke will make you envious, but honestly, they are the nicest people on earth, happy to answer questions. James Salisbury is always going hard and trying his best to make stuff and giving his all. Cal Vanoni is always painting up miniatures from some obscure corner of the internet. It's true, like not one of his things is like the standard GW. I've missed out on so many people, but if I named them all, it would be overwhelming. We hope you become a fixture here because this place is made by these people, not just by us. It's made by our community. I'm really super proud of the community. Unironically, not in the YouTube way of, I'm so proud of this community. With all of that said, let us welcome our new members. And on behalf of all of WAYPN, I have one question for you. What are you painting now? Make a post about it. And I cannot stress this enough, guys. Make a post. Make a post. Because so many people comment and then nobody sees your comments. And then you're like, oh, nobody likes my stuff. And they just don't see it, okay? They don't see it. All right. But actually, you know what? I'll throw to you guys. How do you feel about the community TM?
I really like it here. It's a good place to share information. Everybody's friendly. Everybody's open, or at least in my experience. It is just a good group of people. It's small enough that, if you ask a question, someone's going to answer it. It doesn't get lost like in Reddit where there's, 20 million people.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's something that we've talked about, back when we were considering whether or not we should do the streaming on Twitch as well to make it more discoverable. Yeah. But, everyone was comfortable with how things were. I was comfortable. I was like, I don't want it to diminish like the ability to talk to people. Yeah,
and that's why I don't stream this on the main channel, because we could easily stream this on the main channel, but I feel like it feels quite comfortable. But I'll throw it to you, Warren. What are your thoughts on this one?
I like the community. As a pretty antisocial introvert, it's hard for me to kind of reach out and take part in things like this even. But the community seems to be really easygoing, so I'm liking it so far.
That's
Yeah.
great. And after hearing you say that, I'm really proud of you for coming on and, pushing past your comfort zone to come in and try and have this conversation with us. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so let us. We've got a Gavin
Daddy.
Kevin Gadaddy. All right. 3D printed shield guardian, painted with Vallejo GW P3 and some scale 75. The flagstones on the base are from Eggbox cardboard, which has a really nice texture built in. Oh.
Okay, Larry, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm glad he mentioned that it was Eggbuck's cardboard making the flagstone, because that is a really good texture.
It is.
On there. Also, I like the combination of colors, the bronze and the steel, and it's got some rust on there, like you can see on the legs, but it's not overpowering. I'm not a big fan of the grimdark thing where everything is in an absolute state of disrepair, and this is just a little touch, and that's, to me, that's a good choice.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with you. I think that he's sort of made this guy for a D&D game, and he's probably smashed it out. But as far as smashing out a miniature goes, I think it's come together very well.
Yeah, I will say 100% the same thing, because the metal feels, it still feels like shiny-ish, polished.
Yeah, because we got some highlights along
Highlights?
there. Yeah, it's not a lot, it's enough.
Yeah, but it still has that sort of worn effect to it, like it's been used, and it's a nice balance that's been struck.
Warren, if you have any thoughts?
I think that is like real metallic paint, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think for being real metallic paint, I think they did a really, really good job on still showing depth and shadows and highlights. I feel like it's really easy to kind of skip steps when you use real metallic paint. So yeah, I think they did a really good job with using real metallic paint. Yeah, it looks really good. The weathering isn't over the top. It looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like true metallic metal can be quite tricky to get right.
And so next up we have now I'm going to butcher this name.
I
so
could say it for
you. Okay, is it Nur?
Nur.
Nur.
Yeah, Nur Iskandar.
Yep.
Yeah, you can just call him Iskandar if you like.
Iskandar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do the Iskandar part. Yeah. All right, and this is Shaku, because I understand the Shaku. Larry, would you like to comment on this beast?
I really wish there was more of a picture of the side showing the transition layer.
Oh
Between the front and the back.
You know that's
I mean,
true.
they're beautiful, but like that. But sometimes seeing that transition layer, really helps you get a feel for what's going on with the figure, how it's been painted.
I'll just type it in the comments and say if you could.
So I do believe he said on this that he wished that he did this as the front and that as the back, and I have to say I couldn't agree with somebody more, because like it feels like this is sort of the show side, I'm not quite sure when it's appropriate, but some people say that you've got a show side to certain pieces, and like it feels like the show side is actually on the back rather than the front. I'm not saying that this is done up badly, but I'm saying that this has more visual interest.
The one with the color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go, Larry.
I was going to say, yeah, people like the shiny, colorful stuff.
Warren, do you have anything to add?
I love this piece. The different colors front and back, just oh my gosh. I think they work together so well. But if you could turn everything like maybe a quarter turn, so that way the back glow was partially on the side and not just
Oh,
Everything was
yep.
front and everything was back.
Yeah, I'm following what you're saying. So instead of starting along here, it starts along there. I'm not sure if my
Right.
mouse is
Right.
coming through. Yeah. Um.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but I do believe Iskander said, that he did wish that he'd switched it around. But that's a good point. Maybe not fully on the side.
Right.
Sorry, not fully on the front, but on the side. Yeah, I do think that could work really well. So you're saying, like, for example, some of that would come slightly on this side. So we'd see sort of a transition on the tail here. Like, this would remain brown, but this part of the face, if we turned it just slightly, would have that sort of green. Yep. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yep. Yeah, no, I think that would be good because we can see a tiny bit of that over here in the back. But if that was up here at the front, yeah.
It would add a lot more mix to the visual interest in the front view.
Yep. I have to say, I
I
agree.
agree. I was taking a look at it myself, and if someone hadn't told me that it's the same figure, I would have concluded it was two completely different painted. But
I thought it was the first time I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's it's always hard when it's something like this because it looks so beautiful, and yet you're just like, oh, it's good bad. Well, all right. And next up, we've got Lance, and he's finally finished him up. Did a bit of shade and touch-up work and calling it done. Hope you like the results. So let's take a look and see if that much has changed. So I don't think a lot has changed with him. I think some of the face stuff. But I'll throw it to you, Larry, and see if you can... no, I think this looks better.
I had I had mentioned doing some shading, extra shading on the red on the back.
Yeah.
And he's done exactly that.
Yeah.
And it looks a lot better.
Yeah, no, I think it looks good. Anything else that you'd like to add, Larry?
I don't think so. I think I've said pretty much everything.
All right. Well, Warren, would you like to add anything with this one?
I'm honestly not familiar with the character at all, so I don't really have much to add other than it looks like a really good, fun paint job.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think because we pretty much commented everything on this one, so we'll move on. So next up we have now. Forgive the butchering of names because I'm going to butcher them. That's what I am. I'm a name butcher. Hisham? Alright, I have no idea whether I've gotten that right. We are liberators. The Bone Crushers of Sigmar. Unit done. Moving on to the next one. Alright, Larry. What are your thoughts on these fine fellows here?
The metalwork is very good. I really like the coloring on the shields. I do think the stonework maybe could use a little work for shading.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel done compared to the miniature itself.
Yeah. Anything else?
I do like the blue glow on the hammers.
Blue glow on the hammers, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know what I've done. Where have I done something? I heard a badunk, but I'm not. Oh, I think maybe it was a comment. It's alright. Do not worry, guys. But yeah, so Warren, do you have anything to add with these guys?
I feel like what was said kind of covers it perfectly.
Yep.
The stonework definitely is a spot that could use a little more love.
Yeah.
But also, as someone that goes completely smooth brain when it comes to painting rocks, I can't really comment.
That's totally fair. And as our resident base guy, I would completely have to agree. So I think the problem with the stonework is it doesn't have a lot of depth. You've got these cuts and these grooves, but they don't feel like they're as shaded. And the one bit of tuft, right? This could be correct, but it doesn't quite feel right. I think that there's a couple of things that could be done. I do believe that this is cork. I think, it could be smoothed out to match the base rim, but I just feel like mostly it's lacking a bit of texture. So when we compare this to our previous fine fellow back here, like this stone feels more like stone compared to what we've got up here, and that's just the sort of things. I think if I was to move on from here, what I would probably do is I'd try and add some mud and grime effects like he's got here to create visual interest and try and walk away from the clean stone look, so that there's something that I like. The blues, I like the reds. I don't think there's anything that I would add beyond what Warren said, other than I like that sort of black shading that he's got that comes around the shield and that sort of fades along the pauldrons. I think that looks very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah. So
Gas
Monox. Using some green, blue, and purple washes can help bring depth to stone. Yeah. So I think what Gas Monox is talking about there is a technique called
leopard spots.
Leopard spots or leopard patterning. Yeah. So I think that's what he's talking about. But let us move on to our next piece. Oh, and it's Tia. So this one's more a conversion, but if you could read out for Tia.
It was raining all day yesterday, so I did this.
And I do think this one's a little bit cheeky. I find it slightly amusing because...
The Pokeball there.
Yes, I was going to let them discover it for themselves.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I ruined
spoiling
the
everything.
surprise.
All right. So what do you guys think? Larry?
Skeletor. It's like Skeletor playing Pokemon. I like the idea. I like the concept behind the image. It's very cool. The base seems a little...
Laps up. Sorry, I should say in English. Slapped together. Yeah,
it feels like what I would do if I was just like, well, I just don't know what to do. But I need to put something in.
Yeah, totally.
Which I've done before.
I think the thing here that I think Tia could improve on is that I feel the colors somehow they muddle together a bit too much. Maybe in the greens, I think. Maybe I think it could use a bit of variation. Like I think some of the colors here, like if we were to convert this picture to black and white, we'd find that a lot of them will blur together to look quite gray because the values are not very different. I think if they used more like a mix of dark tones and bright tones, it would really make it pop. Like even the back here. Oh, I have to use the other mouse. Let's see here. The back here. Maybe they could even put in like a airbrush or even dry brush of white and then bring some light into the middle to create like a glow effect or something. Dry brush the soil a bit. I think it'll add something to the effect. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems that that's what, unfortunately, because I know Tia is starting out. So they could do a bit more it push it a little bit more in these aspects. I think contrast is the next step of improvement for Tia. So shall we move to the next one, Annie?
Well, I just heard you talk over everyone.
I asked them what they thought.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure you didn't just overpower them?
So I would add one thing that I don't know if too many people would actually really see this as well, but there's a number of statues or STLs you can get of the X-Men character Magneto sitting in various thrones. And his positioning, the way he's just holding himself in the chair, just gives off a very Magneto in a throne vibe to me, and that he looks unamused even though he's at the top. He has everything he wants, but he's still, I don't know, he gives off that this isn't good enough vibe. And I really like the vibe that the posture gives.
Yeah.
You're right.
Him
or Dr. Doom.
I love the vibe that the posture gives.
Yeah.
Him or Dr. Doom with the green in the middle.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
You're
yeah.
right. Hey, yeah.
But I think it was a fun mixture of references, like Trey's in the Infant with his Pokeball, ha ha ha. But we've got to move on. Otherwise, we will never get things done. All right, next up, we've got Oshiba.
Ooh, Oshiba.
I hope you're still with us, Oshiba.
No, he only popped in to say hello.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got work. Wet blending the bases and black base rim still not done. Done here, so stay tuned.
And I do believe this is just a token, so he's trying to put in some work, but not going too crazy.
It is a very small token.
Yeah, well, take a look at the size of his finger. Either that or he's Andre the Giant level, fingers.
Yeah.
So Larry.
I like the contrast between the sucker color and the rest of the figure.
You got anything to add, Warren?
Not really. I mean, it's good color choices. I'm not really 100% sure what I am looking at.
It's like
it's a
tentacle.
Cthulhu.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a Cthulhu.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we can say.
I think he could add some ripple or water effects.
Yeah, I guess because it does look to be coming out of the water. Like that's what he was trying to do with the sort of purplish
that would make
water.
sense.
Yeah.
Like, I think the issue is when it comes to things like this, where there's no focus and it's a token and that sort of thing, it's really hard to make them pop.
Yeah, fair enough.
And so I think you're fighting the model to some degree. Let us move on to someone who isn't fighting a model.
The Thomas.
Right.
I wanted to try a new technique in making weathered armor, and this guy was perfect to this purpose. Also, it's quite long since I last painted some human face head from Ultramarines captain. Sorry, one moment.
You okay?
Yeah, just there. Okay. Also, quite long since I last painted some human face head from Ultramarines captain was waiting, painted for its body from a few months. So I used him as some exercise too.
Well, Warren. Oh, sorry, not Warren. It's Larry.
Yes.
Larry. What are your thoughts?
He did a very good job weathering the armor. The rust is in the right spots and so forth. It's got good shading along the lines where metal meets metal. I thought I had read someplace where he said he had put down the red brown color for the rust and then dry brushed the rest of the metal on. But I don't.
Makes sense.
Maybe I imagined that. I don't see it.
It might be a little later on, so it could be a couple of pages later on. But if that's the case, I'll just do a quick scroll here. I'll see if we see it a few down because we do have
it. Yeah, you missed it again. There it is.
Okay, yes. So
he's
there
correct.
it is.
You're right. You're right on that.
So we'll make this a quick commentary then because he's got an update on this one. and we will throw to
What?
Warren and your thoughts.
I'm jealous in that despite all the colors being dark, they all still look different.
Yeah.
Whenever I try doing too many dark colors, it usually just winds up looking like a dark blob.
Yeah.
So I like the darkness, yet the being able to differentiate everything. So
I think the key here is the use of contrast of kind. So you've got like different textures.
Yes.
So
I think that you're spot on.
Yeah, so Warren, maybe that's something that you could take away from this, right? Like even if you have like something super monochromatic, you can experiment with different textures. So like maybe the cape is matte, but then the armor is glossy.
I think that he has done that with when we were taking a look at his piece with the big
the
high
big
five guy.
The high five guy. Yeah, we've got to see more of the high five.
All right, well,
high one. He said he was a high one.
Yes. Does anybody get my reference? Praise high one.
No.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Do not know this.
Nobody reads the Scott Sigler books. It's okay. I won't cry. And so next up, this is once again one of the things. What did you guys think about this video?
I mean, I enjoy all the videos.
Oh,
I find them all informative. I don't know. I feel like the psychology behind it is really interesting. And again, I feel like black and white color schemes again lean toward. It's really easy to just not have things that. I'm kind of lost in my thought now.
That's all right.
Okay,
That's all right. We
take
can move on, or you can take your time. Which would you prefer?
You could just move on, I guess. It's not that serious.
All right. Larry, did you have any thoughts?
Basically what he was saying.
Did you guys feel like we missed out on certain things? Like you wish that we talked about something that you feel that would have been informative to you but was missed out on, thing like that?
I feel like that's kind of like when you take a phone call and someone's like, "Is there anything else you need to ask me?" And you're like, "Well, no, but in 15 minutes I'll remember."
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
like right now I have no idea, but an hour from now I'm like, "Man, I wish they would have covered this in the video."
Okay, well, it's a good thing we're all on the server, because when you remember it in 20 minutes, you can just type it down.
For sure.
All right. So now we've got Alex.
Yes.
I finished up Camotef. Yes. The Crooked. No. Camotef the Sangit. Quite happy with the result. Edit. A bit of self-criticism. I regret not having a bit more, or really any at all, contrast with the base versus the model itself. I was trying to tell the story of a Necron so old and assimilated to his own tomb world that his necrodermis, his metal skin, eventually changed to reflect the environment he is in. On a side note, I am much happier with my photos. The stark white background was too much contrast, and I was having a really hard time balancing everything else out. I've softened the two main lights. I have an overhead light, less powerful than the front two, and white paper underneath for a bottom bounce light. The background is a lot farther back now and works a treat with the dark grey to white gradient. Yeah.
All right, well, let's throw to Larry.
Well, when I look at it, I know he had mentioned something earlier about it supposed to be bone, but to me it reads like sandstone, which ties in with the Egyptian motif, the robot mummy thing.
Agreed.
Very well, I think. And it is a very nice picture, to address what he had said before there. But the contrast between the naturalistic sandstone look to it and the blue for the energy weapon and the eyes and so forth, very, very nice.
So I'm just gonna grab from the comments. David said, "Ooh, shiny blue."
Shiny blue. Ooh.
Also, Cal has officially admitted that Sunny is all. All right. So before we do anything else, I would like to refute that by saying, let's throw to Warren.
Oh yes.
I mean, I agree with a lot of what was already said. The blue and that sandstone color just really go together well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm even a big fan of, honestly, how the little glimmers of gold here and there kind of are hidden away. Those are nice. And the blue in the eye and the 3 little gems under his arm, those are really, really well done.
Yep, those were things I was going to throw to as well. So yeah, I think that we're very much on the same page. So I think with what?
I want to say things.
Yeah, no, well you're not. I'm going to prove that you're not all powerful.
I want to say.
All right, fine, I'll let you.
I think that originally I was thinking to myself, why didn't he use a green? Because like Necrons always have the green power source. But then, you guys are right. Like with the blue Egyptian theme, like if you're going strictly Egyptian theme, they use a lot of blues, with their lapis lazuli and the gems that they use have a lot of blues. And, thinking about that, previously I commented about the chains that are coming down from his arm there.
Yep.
Why should we make the remaining dots colored with the glow? But I'm thinking to myself now, what if he used like a mix of like dark red, emerald green, and blues, like how they do with Egyptian jewelry? Maybe something like that.
So I wouldn't agree with that because
No?
the reason is right. I think the biggest bane of painters is we make work for ourselves. We just go, you know what? It's not as if we have eternal time on Earth, so you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make things harder for ourselves, and like everybody just shakes our head at us, and even ourselves at times. And I think the issue with that is that you could do that. There's lots of things that you could do. But we got to look at the reality of things. The only thing that I think that he missed is like, I would Emperor, let my people go. Sorry, that was just a comment in the chat. But the thing is, it feels like it's the joining part on this, and like he sort of magnetically coupled this to his arm as a piece of jewelry sort of thing. And it feels within theme. The only thing I'll say is because he wanted his base to match that, I feel that like he said, the base doesn't feel right. What I would go is sort of for a crumbling sandstone look, right? Maybe even like 3D print something. But the thing about this is, take a look at how he is now. There's no reason why you can't cut him off the base. Unless he's already sent him away, because this was a commission. There's no reason you can't cut off the guy from the base and put him on. But yeah, no, I just wanted to say one last thing about the blue, though. Those shine lines and how he's gotten the crystal effect to go off, just mwah, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Very much so.
All right. So we shall move on.
Moving on to Hazik. Greetings. Happy to be here and share some cool painted minis. Currently working on my hero model Lord Vigilant on Gryffstalker. As per my previous Liberator post, I will be doing a head and shield swap to better suit my custom storm host. Thanks for having me and take care.
You know, there's
That's
one
nice.
thing that I just want to say on this, right? So obviously it's just, the start of a thing, but I love people sharing the start of their stories, because when it comes to this, right, I think one of the things that people often forget when it comes to a lot of these things, because so often we just see these finished, completed minis, and we're just like, oh, I could never do that. But the thing is, we don't see the hours and hours and hours and hours of work people put into something. And it all just starts out with something like this, going, I'm going to convert this head. And I love that people are converting the heads because we think that that's basically the only thing wrong with the Stormcast.
He actually looks very much something that comes from Chaos faction in the old fantasy game.
Oh, yeah, I
Warhammer
guess
Fantasy.
kind of.
It feels more like
He
that.
feels more Bretonian to me.
Is it?
Yes, but we will move on to Quinn Andrews.
Painted this old geezer. Tried chipping with toothpick method and need to thin my paints more and tried edge highlights for the first time. Sorry. But other than that, want some advice to improve. Looking for character level on him.
Nice.
Since he's been a beast on the battlefield in my crusade I'm playing. Wow, someone said what level they're doing.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, I'll zoom in a bit and we will start off with Larry. What are your thoughts?
It's a cute background.
Yes, I thought that too.
The armor, it looks very rough. It looks like he's added a lot of texture to it with the chipping effect. But not just that, but it looks like it looks like it's been very worn, very much out in the elements for a long time. Had several layers of paint put on it. And I don't mean he's put several layers of paint.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
it looks like the people inside have put a lot of paint on it, and just it looks like very much part of its environment.
So I'm gonna grab another one of these images and zoom in, and see if there's anything else you'd like to add. Because I pretty much agree with everything you'd say. Do you want to comment on the basing? Because if you don't, I will.
Well, if you really want to, the base is the base done yet?
Yeah, no,
or is he still working on it?
So that's what I feel with the basing. You know, like it feels very undone. Compared to, you know, everything else. Like I can see that he's done highlights and all of that sort of thing, but that's one of the things that I'll throw to. I just want to throw this other angle before I throw it off. Yeah, because you were talking about the chipping and such, and you can really see it on this side, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Larry's 100% right. Like it just has that effect of this. It's probably rusted underneath, and they're not going in with like one of those special laser tools that removes
or
rust.
Sandblasting.
Yeah,
things.
they're just gonna be like, oh, pop on some on paint, and then you can see all that
sandstorm and.
You can see all that under texture still showing through. That's got a very realistic effect. But what do you think, Warren? What do you think?
I agree. I think the weathering looks well done. I definitely feel this piece is showing someone that wants to take the steps to do a proper paint job. They just need to keep practicing and keep refining their techniques, and they're definitely on the road to putting out some really cool stuff.
Yep, so I'm gonna pick up the ball that you left rolling there. And so the thing that I notice is that we see some very we see different levels of painter here. Like for example, over here, when we take a look at this, it's very well done. It's brilliantly done. But then we see this, and these highlights are a bit. They're a bit choppy. They're a bit all over the place, and you just need a bit more precision with the gold here, you know. And it's just small things like that. And the thing is, I think it's just things like that. I feel like it's one of those moments where, you know, it's the coach where he says, you know, keep practicing and good things will come. And you're like, yeah, but what do I have to do? And I think the biggest thing for him is brush control, because I think that he's got like the ideas behind it really 100% done. because we take a look at this, right, and we see, for example, like those little nicks, these sorts of things, right? But then we come over here, we go to there. But yes, please work more on base. This is all I can say. It feels very underwhelming. But like I think that you've done a really good job, and I just wanted to compliment you on, putting yourself out there, because I think that you really did put yourself out there. And I wanted to say, this is an amazing background. Look at this.
He's very nice.
It's very nice. And while we're still here, I will throw to the comments. So David said, Crazen. No, they're 24. They're
exhibits.
They're 7264 exhibits. And Penguin says, "Hey, just got back from work." All right, let us move on to the next one. And we actually talked about this one on the podcast.
Yeah.
This was David's one. There's a lot of text here, but I just wanted to go over this one quickly because we've already talked about this one on
the stream that we
yeah,
did.
on another stream, and we'll be double dipping, I feel, a little bit. But the thing is, I think that it's really cool what he's doing here, the way that he's done this, and like the idea of wood grain for some of these guys, I think is an amazing concept compared to what we usually see. So I'm just gonna skip over this one a little bit because there is a lot of text there, and Sunny's going to be reading for a long time. We've already gone over it before. So next up, we've got Victor Lundquist, and he's just got a little bit, and we'll skip over this as well a little bit after you've read out. So would you like to read out, please?
Okay, I took the cover art of All Is Dust and inverted the colors. It gave me a neuron activation scheme acquired. Just gonna tone down the Y. But what is the color psychology of a scheme with majority orange, metallic blue trim, and ghostly turquoise as a minority?
So with this, we already know what these colors are. That's sort of the rebel colors, as we've talked about before in one of the things. And turquoise, I do believe, is linked with water and
teal. Yeah, it will be teal.
Yeah, and it's linked with mysticism. So we're just gonna go on this one fairly quickly because time is a thing, and we are running out, peoples. So next up, we have Emily.
Yes. Hi. I started last year to paint some beaky space marines. As a color scheme, I chose roughly the same one that I have for my Imperial Battle Fleet Gothic ships, which is iconic for that game. Having seen some of your YouTube videos about colors, what they mean, psychological, etc., I'm interested to know what this color scheme mean according to those videos, and are there any additional colors I could apply? That adds a bit more to the scheme that is complementary but doesn't dominate the primary color of green.
So I'll just talk a tiny bit about the color psychology, and then I'll throw to Larry for the painting. So with the color psychology, white is the symbol of purity and beginnings. So this probably represents that they're high-minded in their thinking.
Or they're innocent because like she's chosen the head to be white.
Well, it might be a he because Kim is either or
Kimberly
either.
Christensen.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yes, but either way, it doesn't matter. The important thing is the white. The white probably represents them thinking highly of themselves, and also thinking that when it comes to their thoughts and actions, they are pure in their thoughts and actions, right? But I'm going to throw to Larry and see what you think about the paint job.
Well, he's asking about what colors he could apply. The obvious thing is red. Going with the, what is it, 60-30-10 breakdown?
Yep.
Do 10% red. The eyes would cover it, maybe put some on a weapon or
Yep.
A little bit of trim.
Yep.
Sounds
or
good
even
to
add
me.
some to the base.
Like if you did like a Martian base, that would be
Mm-hmm.
really
possibly. possibly.
Yeah, so they could do like a red or even an orange, because they're like side by side, and that still
a
works.
red-orange base. But I'll throw to Warren. What are your thoughts on the paint job?
I think the paint job looks solid. It's a well done, simple paint job. I do think that a little bit of highlighting could go a long way in making things pop.
Yeah,
Yes,
fair enough.
I would agree.
But also with army painting, I don't do army painting, so I'm not really gonna, throw shade at someone's army painting.
And that's fair.
But it's a really well done paint job, though. I mean, I don't have anything to complain about. Everything looks well done. Everything looks like it was in the lines. So.
Yep, that's what we say about tabletop. Everything's readable. There's nothing here where you're confused as to what it is or its purpose. And
yeah, exactly.
And that's I think that he's hit the he or she, I don't know which, it will remain unknown until it is addressed.
Yeah, unknown.
But like the thing is, I hope that that's helped when it comes to the color psychology part. I agree with Warren. I think that the highlights could be pushed quite a bit. Like, I do see that there's highlights with the shoulder pads and that sort of thing, and that there is highlights here, but they feel quite subtle. And you'll notice when it comes to what's it called, heavy metal style, they'll often do 2 highlights within the same edge highlight to push things further. Like, for example, this highlight right here that you've got is really good. This highlight that you've got here is really good. But when it comes to the highlights on the feet and such, they don't pop out that much. Take a look at that natural sheen line that you get from the light, and that's the kind of thing that you might want to be copying. All right, let us move on. And next up, oh no. It's time for you guys to judge us.
Hashtag Whip Wednesday. Here's what I painted last night on stream. Henry also painted up his case crackers. This is the continuation of our Stargrave painting session tabletop level, where we only used red, blue, yellow, blue. Oh, I said blue again. Red, blue, yellow, black and white, and 2 skins. SMS Infinite Color. That's what we've used for this one.
Yep.
Happy with my spider monkeys, but not as happy with the hackers.
All right. Let us through. All right, Larry. Let's hear it.
Oh, where do I begin? Seriously, I do like these guys. I like the color scheme because they remind me of Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what you said, didn't you say?
Early Star Wars.
Yeah.
The oranges and the blues and the greens and everything. The paints, I think these were the ones I had asked you about on another post for the SMS, and you said that they were kind of glossy, and that's the only thing that I like matte.
Yeah,
very, very matte.
They are not matte at all.
They're just like working.
They look like all our figures used to back in the 80s.
Oh, it's very difficult
which is not a bad thing. But I do like the color choices and where everything is put.
And we'll get you to comment on these two. Your thoughts
on the gray guys?
Yeah.
Same thing. They also, they remind me of like I said, Star Wars. More than anything else. Bad guys maybe rather than the rebels. But the paints, they look like it looks like on this one guy with glasses and a tablet, it looks like it's supposed to be kind of a camouflage pattern on the pants.
Is
that what it is?
I was trying to highlight it. It was difficult with the paint, but I also kind of gave up after I reached the hackers.
Yeah, no, the scale 75 is not that good. But we'll go back to the spider monkeys, which are a little funner to look at. And we'll throw to you, Warren. What do you think?
I love the paint jobs on all of them. especially considering you guys were working with limited palettes. You guys kept really unique paint jobs for both of them, yet they look cohesive, like they belong in the same world together.
Well, I think that the SMS are not likely to get a high review from us, and I'm just gonna skip over to Mars for a second, and go to my one so that we can just finish the torture session. And why you breathe like this?
Yeah, I gotta breathe.
Okay, I don't know why the computer is like this. I said I would like to read more, and the computer said no, you want to fail.
There it is.
Okay, so it's Whip Wednesday, #Whip Wednesday. Sunny and I have been working with the SMS Infinite paints, and we haven't had exactly the best time with them. This is our results. We've been doing this on stream. What do you think? Please be brutally honest. We still haven't done anyone for the review. We still haven't done anyone.
We still don't have anyone for the.
Yeah, don't. It's meant yes. Okay. See the misspellings. Yes. If you would like to come on as a guest, that being said, what are you painting now? And this is them all together. So these two aren't finished yet, but let's throw to Larry. What do you think of Bob the Builder and Wendy?
Well, for some reason, seeing them all together like that in the first shot, everything shifts from Star Wars to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh my god! Yeah.
I dig it. It's a good thing. I don't know why it does, but it does that.
Or maybe it's the colors.
It could be. They look very cartoony.
They do look very cartoony, very fun.
And I'm assuming that's intentional.
Yeah.
Okay. I do like the orange on the Bob the Builder. It's a nice, it's a nice bright orange on there. Good safety orange. And then the yellow helmet. I might add a little shading to that to bring out some of the edges on there. But I'm not sure what's available for the SMS if that's what you're trying to use.
There's the yellow.
You just use several coats of yellow. You might need to create a separate color, like mix white with the yellow or something. I don't know.
Or mix maybe a little tiny touch of purple with the yellow to create a darker golden yellow, and then use that on.
People see they see the video, so they learn the thing.
But yeah. Anything else to add?
Not at this stage.
Okay. Warren, what are your thoughts?
The guy on the right, is he supposed to be like a Tin Man?
No, he's just not finished. She's not yet finished yet. So like this.
Oh, okay.
These are
we haven't gotten
whips.
to the skin.
And
gotcha.
It's But please go.
Okay. I was just wondering. All right, cool. No, I think they both look really well done. I do have to agree with the whole like these two definitely bring like a cartoony vibe to the group. But I don't know why I really like the shirt on the guy on the left.
Yeah.
The grays and whites, they're really smooth. They're really well done.
Yeah, well, I think it might have been just because I didn't have to mess around as much with the white. Like the orange I think came up well, but the yellow was a complete disaster. So one of the reasons why we're painting these guys on stream is because this is going to be for a video where we're painting with the colors that we recommend from various brands. And see, when you're streaming, things sometimes go wrong, as they did in this stream. But the thing is, you've got that added pressure, and so we wanted to have that added pressure as if you're a new painter, right? And I tell you what, I do not recommend the SMS brands as it stands, but
for
maybe
for the brush application
yeah,
paints.
the SMS Infinite, I should say.
Yeah, because we usually use their airbrush.
We use
formula.
the airbrush a lot. But guys, please be brutally honest with this, because if there's anything that you're holding back, like, you know,
then it won't come out in the video.
Yeah,
and
you
then
know,
they'll,
like, so what's the priest say? You know, speak now or forever hold your peace. Larry, is there anything that you need to get off your chest?
No, I think I pretty much said what needs to be said. The gun on the back of the guy with the orange shirt, it doesn't look like it's been started yet.
It has
No.
It has not.
Okay.
Neither has the arms. Like,
Yeah, so
Okay.
the lady only has her hard hat, her vest, her pants painted, plus the handle of the hammer and the toolbox.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
David says, I prefer Pokemon to Bob the Builder. Is that all you're gonna say, huh? Is that all the critique you have to say?
All right, Warren, let's hear it. I'm prepared, buddy.
I mean, it's kind of hard to be brutally honest on a critique on something that isn't finished yet.
Yeah, fair.
So I mean, yeah, I can't really say much more than what I've already said about it.
I
Really.
guess so. Yeah, maybe we've got to finish it and then they can give us their feedback.
Yeah. Because Sunny's ones were finished, but mine were not. But I'll go back to Tamaz, because I think Tamaz's one didn't come up in the thing. But if you would like to read out Tamaz.
Experiment with armor seems to be utter success, and it's surprisingly easy technique. Number 1, base coat with light rust tone, little bit desaturated orange. 2, heavy dry brush of black. 3, light dry brush of silver. 4, very light dry brush of gunmetal. 5, some edge highlighting and picking up the rivets with silver. 6, done. But because there must be balance in nature, so axe is a complete disaster.
So these seems to be the colours that he's used: light rust, black, silver, gunmetal. So I'll go back to the dude himself and throw to Larry, because you had some comments that you were wanting to say on this one.
Yeah, this was the dry brush technique that I remembered him talking about. It looks just beautiful, and I'm completely stealing the idea. I like on the back.
It's all right. We'll let you steal this. We'll let you do
it. On the back of the neck area, the way it's got the rust filled in on the scratches, it just that really helps sell the metal effect, I think. Excuse me. I do also like the axe handle. The attention to doing in the wood grain.
Yes.
Rather than just a solid color of wood on there. I think that really helps add to the realism of the piece. And the base, it's a good color. It's got some bits of discoloration, like maybe moss or pooled water. And it's a good dark gray, almost black stone.
Yeah.
On there with a little bit of dirt. It's very nice.
So I'll throw to you, Warren. Your thoughts?
I think for so few paints and such a simple process, absolutely amazing results.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where I wish more people could see something like this, because it's definitely a testament to good-looking results. Don't have to take 100 different products and 100 hours.
Yes. Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. But sorry, I interrupted you. You please go on.
Oh no, that was pretty much the end of that thought. Really, just
all good.
I love simplicity and small products just really having a big impact.
Yeah, well, no, like as a commission painter, as a very bad commission painter.
I don't think you're that bad.
No, I'm bad because of what I'm about to say next. See,
Oh.
like I'm bad because I do exactly the opposite of what Warren says, and I do these time-consuming techniques. And like when I do have a good technique like this, and I get a result out like that, I just feel like such a sense of relief wash over me. I'm just like, oh, it's done. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Recipe.
And oh, you wanted to say something?
No, I think it reminds me of that one shot that we watched by Peachy, when he was showing how he painted realistic Necron metal or something.
Yeah.
And he just painted it black, and then he went in with a soft brush of a dry brush of gunmetal.
With a makeup brush, or
that's it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh wow, it looks so realistic. And I believe it was just a 2-step process. And you think to yourself, wow, how simple and effective was that, you know?
Yeah.
And no one feels intimidated with painting with techniques like this.
And see, I think like I'd probably add to that process, but not a lot. I'd probably do like a black wash over that, and then a silver wash. Not a silver dry brush, but a lot lighter. And see, like it's just things like that. It's things like that. But I've got 2 other things to say. I'm going to disagree, Tomas. I do not think that the axe was a disaster. I think it looks great.
Yeah,
I like
it looks very nice.
Yeah, I think that, you know, some of the lines are a bit thick, but I don't think that's a problem. It looks, trust me, I've got axes. They look like this. They do. But there is one thing that I think he could improve on, which is right here on the back where he's got these. I think that he could use the wash a little bit more to separate them, right? Because they feel sort of blended together. And the other thing is down here on the heads of them, you could do that in a lighter color because that's how stakes look. You know, they've got a lighter color when you shave the stuff back. But other than that, absolutely fantastic. And I'd say that they're pretty minor critiques. And also, there's one other bit of metal that he's done, which is this bit, which I think is a hacksaw.
Cleaver-coon.
I think it's actually a hacksaw.
Well, I wouldn't know what that is.
Yeah, because he's got the blade covered, so that it's
right, okay.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. But I think that looks absolutely amazing. I think you hit it out of the park, mate. I think you hit it out of the park, and you got to be proud with yourself. You got to be proud with yourself. All right, so next up, I will try and quickly read this one, right? We'll see if I have misspelt everything or only 1 or 2 things. So, why do I heart every post? You may notice that I don't like all the posts, but heart them. So, why do I do this? 2 reasons. 1, it shows that I took the extra time to show that I care. And the second thing, I love seeing people painting. That is the whole reason I started WAYPN many, many years ago, well before I started here. I started it because I saw a lot of grey armies, and I saw a lot of people say, why bother? Because something is better than nothing. The issue here is that people will knock a person down a peg if they think too highly of themselves. Back then, I was a horrible painter. And I'm talking the 2 thick coats of paint screaming meme videos where it's, brother! I figured if I painted up my stuff, people would be willing to put up their stuff. All right. I'm really super proud of everyone who has the courage to post their stuff. They know they will be critiqued. They know people can say stuff here. And I have never seen anyone say anything negative here. I've only seen people give honest feedback. But for someone starting out, that's hard. For someone unsure of themselves, that's hard. But if someone can push past that, they'll be rewarded at the very least by being noticed. That, if that's corny and cheesy, frankly, I don't care. I'm a cheese corn or whatever. I just want people to paint and enjoy their hobby. And yeah, I just wanted to read that one out there, guys, because like, here's the thing. I honestly do feel that. I just want you guys to paint. I want you guys to enjoy your hobby. I want to see more paint jobs. And the thing is, you are noticed here, and even if you think you're not good enough, even if you think you can't make it, you know, please just give it a shot.
Mm.
And
Yes.
Mhm.
Give it a go, you mug.
yeah, give it a go, you mug. And
Yeah.
I will move on. Oh, I see.
It's RJ.
Warren,
It's
Warren,
RJ.
do you
Oh,
know
there you go. You know the rules.
rules?
Do you know the rules?
You've got to read out your
own
post.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's something I did for my wife. I wrote a little something to go with it. This piece is both dedicated to and inspired by my love, my best friend, my goon, my wife. The power of self-love. She is the robot is her. Once you were a child with endless hopes, dreams, and love for those around you and yourself. Then trauma, letdown, and heartaches from the world as you grew turned you hard and bitter toward yourself. Along the way, you stumbled and seemed to have forgotten how powerful loving yourself can be. I wish I could lead the way for you, or just throw you on my back and whisk you away to happiness. But my love, you already have the perfect guide. She's waiting right there, just inside. To anyone that struggles with mental illness, you're valued and loved by so many. I hope one day you're able to see it, and that one day you're also able to find the inner child so full of love and hope again.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was great, man. That
Oh,
was
you're
fantastic.
crying. You're crying. No,
I'm
no,
not-
you're
I'm
not
not
crying.
No,
I'm
but
just kidding.
I do think it's really beautiful and nice.
Oh,
and
yes,
like
look at that.
what I think is so powerful is your placement of things. So you see how the little girl's in that patch of grass, right?
Yeah.
She's there, and there's this huge Titanic machine, right? And like the thing is, right here, that child is the powerful one,
Yeah.
not the machine.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, you know, this thing could probably do so much more, it's that's the powerful thing here.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna throw to Larry. Is there anything that you'd like to say on this one?
It is absolutely beautiful.
Mm, mm.
I love it. Don't really want to say much more than that.
Yeah,
on,
no, yeah,
on
no,
the stream, but
yeah, no, because I want to say this is what we call in the industry your what's that shot called, honey? The shot. Oh, look at your face.
Well, my face.
You look so sad.
Well, it was a sad drawing. Well,
It's it's the what do we call it? Not the
Money shot?
It's not the money shot. It's close to but it's
I don't know.
the golden angle.
Oh, golden angle.
Yeah,
angle.
no.
Ah, right. Yes, it's true.
Because like this is the if I was to put this on a piece of box art, this is what I'd use.
So you can see the red eyes. It's like I'm not sure if that
They're
was
magenta,
intentional.
I think.
It doesn't matter. Like, is it? I don't know if it's looking specifically. He's dotted it to look at the girl, or if it's just the angling, or what. I don't know. But you can feel like, oh, look at this robot, so tired. You know, he's so tired, and you can see the corner of his eye, this little colorful child over there, and it's just like he wants to try to come a bit closer.
Well, see, what I really like is the transformation lines.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if anybody else has picked up on that, but on this last picture, it's so obvious when you're looking down. So just see this here, guys, right?
Yes.
Like that her presence is transforming everything.
It's so nice, the colors. Oh, I love the blue and the pink.
So I think that the little girl is absolutely fantastic. I love the shadowing here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Like I think that looks really, really nice.
Yeah, obviously a lot of time.
Yeah.
Into getting all those sort of like dramatic shadows, so it looks cinematic.
But also, here's something else that I would like you guys to check out. So see how there's a lot of texture with all of the rust, right?
Mm.
Take a look right here and on the leg, and you'll notice that not only the transformation is changed paint-wise, but also just look at how there's no texture around there.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if it's
Smooth.
cleaned it. So David said that that's so sweet, and Gas said, I'd love to have a model like this, and Dave said he loves this community. But yeah, I think that when it comes to feedback, one of the things that I try and do is I try and match to what you're trying to show. And this is obviously a very emotional piece for you, but I think you hit it out of the park with this one. Like it feels as if you have shown everything that you were trying to convey in that poem. So yeah, if you've got anything extra that you'd like to add, please do.
I just I really appreciate all the kind words everyone has to say. That's really nice. It was a really fun project, and I don't know, my wife was going through a bit of a slump at that point in her life, and art is my escape, and so I did something to help myself and also hopefully help her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a fun project. It didn't feel like a lot of work, even though it was.
I definitely think she'll appreciate it, especially with the letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She absolutely has appreciated it. Absolutely.
And I think, yeah, like, this is why, this right here is why I know that this is going to sound like a bit of a crazy rant, but this is why I dislike the term slap chop, because what you've done here is art. There's no ifs, no buts, no maybes. It's art. Art is an expression of the self, right? And
absolutely.
And like the thing is, when it comes to these little things, some of the times we're just playing toy soldiers, right? But other times we are making art, and like some of the times those bounds are very blurred. We're playing with our toy soldiers, but we want to express ourselves. We want to show something. We want to show our artistic ability. We want to feel something. And so you're not a TV commercial, you know. You're not slap chopping. You're an artist.
Pork chopping.
And I think this shows that perfectly. But we will move on before everybody gets too sappy. I'll blame everyone else, not myself. But before I say, yes, it is another one. So Gas said that piece is superb. Lots of love and care clearly evident.
Yes.
And like if I was to get a short and just say you're an artist, like that's what I feel.
Oh, do you think we could potentially feature that in the show?
We'll work on that another time, but we will read words.
Oh, no,
I
can't read
you
words.
Can't read
Not
words.
my
Warren
turn.
has to read words.
All right. Here's 3 busts that are on the currently working on area of my workbench. Any and all criticism welcomed and encouraged. Happy painting, y'all.
Okay, so these are 3 different ones?
Yeah.
Oh wow, they look so similar.
Oh no! I'm sorry. No.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I
Different
was looking at this one and I'm like, wow.
No,
Like, because I was thinking, because who's done that recently?
Joseph always.
Yeah, Joseph's done that recently. And I was like,
do
wow, that's so consistent. How did you manage that? But all right. Well, this is the one I wanted to comment on the most. I'm guessing this is Bride of Frankenstein.
I'm guessing that's where they were going with that. I'm not 100% sure.
But yeah, it just has such a melancholy feel.
Oh yeah, because I just love that he's done like these different
Skin
tones
tones.
to
Yeah, that's what I
show
was thinking.
how like she's patched
You know-
together by all these different corpses.
You know
Oh,
what?
wow.
You know what I realized we did wrong again. We got excited. Larry,
Oh, Larry.
please give your commentary.
Larry was just hiding. He's like, maybe if I sit still, they won't notice me. Like the kangaroos are now caught. And yeah.
Yes. All right.
No, just trying to recover from the last one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
Um, the first one here with the roses and everything in the top half of the face being white gives me very strong Day of the Dead vibes.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
I agree. Yes,
Which is a huge thing here where I live, but it reminds me very much of that, and it took me a while to notice the stitching on there, which made me think of Nightmare Before Christmas. What's her name?
no. Oh no, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Corpse Bride. I'm thinking of different.
Yeah, there's that too. Nightmare Before Christmas is the one I was thinking of, but it kind of reminds me of that. But also on the guy with the armor, the metalwork is very well done, and I love the blue.
Yep.
And
I'll
the
go back to that
shading
one.
and highlighting.
Oh
On that
yeah,
one.
look at this.
That's gorgeous. That looks like it could be a main character, like in an animated film or something.
Oh, definitely. Is the metal also true metallic metal or non-metallic?
No, that's the true metallic metal, and then the darker half is like 5 or 6 coats of dark shade to kind of darken that half of it.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of true metallic metal. I really like it, and I think it's coming up really well. Like, for example, you can see how the shine of this is coming up, but like I think that you're going to be putting a bit more work into the metal. Would I be right on that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a feeling. I won't go into.
Yes, quite a bit of work.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sing this song. Certainly could lift the mood.
What's the song?
You know, I got a feeling. But yeah, no, I wanted to comment on this one a lot because like the difference between the skin tones and the way that you've connected them is just chef's kiss, because I really like along here.
You can see like little bits of gold there.
Well,
like
no.
rivets.
See, like the shine where it comes along, you know, the collarbone.
Yes.
And along at the shoulders, right?
Yes.
And like that just feels so nice. And like when I first saw it, I was just sort of like, the shading's a bit off here. And then once I zoomed into it, I was like, okay.
He got attacked in the heart.
But I tell you what, the skin tones with this lady is coming up very, very nicely. I think they're coming along nicely, but I really like the way that you're doing the horns. I think that the patterning that's coming along with the blindfold.
Yeah, blindfold.
I think that looks really good. And I actually like horns that go the other way, but I can see why you chose this, because like that way there'd be no contrast with the belt. So I like horns where it's, because I think naturally most of the time it's the other way around. They're darker towards the flesh of the animal, and they get lighter as they go out.
Is it?
Yeah.
In most real examples I looked at, it was that way. It was usually only sci-fi stuff where it's the way I have it.
Yeah.
And I'm so indecisive. It was just like, you know what? However my paintbrush does it is how it does it.
Yeah, no, I think that it's good, because if you had it that way, there wouldn't be the same level of contrast here against your leather thing. But I think that's about all I have to say on it. Sunny, do you want to add anything extra to any of these?
I just really like the blue hood.
The hood with the scratching and all that.
I love it.
Yeah.
That was really spot on.
And Larry, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think I've said everything.
Okay. All right. So we will move on. All right. Next up, we have. Oh,
Larry.
you must
Oh,
read
Oh
out.
no.
Oh no.
Okay.
Is it? Oh no.
All right. So these are a couple of cyberpunk figures.
Yep.
I redid the armor that I'd been working on for both the man and the dog there. I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do with it. I eventually decided I wanted an armor plate look rather than an actual metallic metal, because everything in cyberpunk is all chrome and silver and so forth. I wanted something a little different. Um, I didn't want it. I also didn't want to do like an NMM kind of style. I just wanted to have a nice matte gray plate. Uh, like I have a reference picture in there of the kind of thing I was going for.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I think it's working out okay for the guy there, for how it looks on the guy. I'm not sure if it turned out okay on the dog. The back plates on the dog look okay, but I'm not sure if the sides came out all right. Um, if I need to try to do some more highlights on there, I use the same kind of grays on there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like they kind of disappear in the picture on there. I do plan on doing a wash of some kind on the dog to get into some of those real fine cracks there. I haven't decided quite yet what yet. Either some watered down Nuln Oil or something called Starship Filth that I have from
I know
Ammo by
Starship
Mig.
Filth. Yeah.
Okay, and I was thinking about that because it's a little more brown and it might tie in with the body of the dog, which I have to fix.
Well, just before we go on, so this is a whip, is it, or is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
whip.
All right. Well, I just wanted to take a look at this bit right here. Interesting. So these are sort of the army plates that they'll have in between the sheets of Kevlar.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're
Those almost look like slabs of concrete.
they
do.
do.
Yeah.
So Warren, I'll throw it to you with this first, and then we'll comment after.
I mean, I feel like for going for that metal plate that we were just looking at, you're definitely on the right track. I do think that the example you had a little more blue in it.
Sorry, I'll go to the example. Moment. Here we are.
All right, never mind. It doesn't have the blue I was thinking in my head. All right. Then yeah, I feel like looking back at the example now, I feel like you kind of nailed what you were going for. I would say maybe in some of the cracks and crevices, just do another go of black lining to enforce those separations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I feel like tonality wise, I feel like you kind of nailed what you were looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to say that I pretty much agree with everything. The only thing I would say when it comes to this, and I think that you are doing it with quite a lot of it, but right here in this, so you see how here you've got these sort of scratchy highlights. I feel like that fits your reference model more, but so this plate up here feels more like in line, but the ones below it don't. Maybe just like stipple on some of that grey, because it feels like they've got not a marble feel, but I guess that's my closest example. The way that it looks, it's got its own texture.
That irregular effect.
Yeah. But that would be the only thing that I would say. I think the only issue that there will be when it comes to this is that I think unless people know that you're trying for that effect, unless you really push that sort of almost stone-like effect that it has, people won't know that you're going for the stone, and they'll think that you're trying for a non-metallic metal. Like, did you watch our episode on verisimilitude?
Probably.
Okay, so basically,
I listen to YouTube all day while I'm at work. So.
fair enough, fair enough. So one of the things that we say, right, is you're not trying for reality, but a heightened version of reality, right? And
the feeling of reality.
yeah, the feeling of reality. And so when I look at, for example, this right here, I think that you hit the reference almost exactly, except with down here. But I think that you could push it quite a bit so that it looks more stone-like. What are your thoughts?
With the highlights, you're saying?
Not as much with the highlights, but with the stippling and making it look more stone-like.
The problem is this looks like a pretty small area.
Yeah, that's
and I'm
true.
thinking about diminishing returns at this rate.
That's fair.
Like once you put it on, like we are able to see all these things because the picture is so close.
Yeah.
But once you're actually using the model, like, does anyone really notice?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I feel.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Sunny's right on this.
I'm always right.
She's all powerful.
The all-powerful wizard Sunny.
All right. Well, moving on because we got to kick that one down the road because we can't have that become a meme.
Oh no.
All right. So look, there's some pots. It's time for you to read,
pots.
Sonny. You got to read. You got to do it. Do it now.
Iskandar say about.
I'm in charge, by the way, guys. I'm in charge.
About 2 to 3 hours of painting. Now my barbarian can hide and munch on apples. And I said that this looks just like the still life setups that I used to draw when we were in art class. You know, where they drape stuff and then you practice shading with the artwork like this.
All right. So, Larry, it's your chance to say something instead of Sunny.
It's very nicely done. I like the shading on the tablecloth there, or tarp or whatever that's supposed to be. I love a good pumpkin. These are good pumpkins.
Very good pumpkins.
And he says apples there. I keep thinking tomatoes.
If you look at this angle, I think they look more like apples.
Because he's done the green tops with them, like very, very.
I think it. Yeah. Go. Sorry. I'm speaking over you.
Oh, that's okay. I like one thing I noticed on the purple urn is he's got the kind of yellow sand effect going up the side of it.
Oh yes, very nice.
Which really helps tie it into the base, I think. It's a very nice touch.
So I think you're pretty much done, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's throw to Warren. Your thoughts?
So I really like the piece. I think it's really fun, and I do like how. Could you go back to the main front picture of it?
This one,
real quick.
Or
yeah, that'll do.
Or this one.
No, not that one. That one.
Okay.
Okay. When you're right here, the highlights like on the base that's closest to us, like the rim of it has that highest highlight, and the pumpkins have their highest highlight, and then the green tablecloth has its highest highlights in the corner right there. And then when you go to the back vase, it doesn't have that highlight to kind of insinuate that it's further away from the light source, which is wonderfully done. The rope is also missing that highlight to again enforce that it's further away from the light source, which I love that little detail. But with the vase having in the front, the vase having that highlight, and then the pumpkins having that highlight, I think where they missed something that could have added to that depth of field they were going for is whether they're tomatoes or apples, they're shiny. I do feel like those should have had a bit more of a intense highlight since they're just as close to you as the pumpkins are.
Yep. So like what is that called? Scatter lighting?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
So I mean, it's a small nitpick, but I do think that it's one of those small things that could really just help make it pop that much more.
For me, I would say that when Larry had that confusion between the apple and tomatoes, I can see why he said that, because with the apples, I know this is probably is not going to be, it might be too tough to paint this, but I see what he's going for, where the apples, they have the fade between the green from the top where the stem is and then goes down to the red. But the issue is that he has started with a green that's not too yellow enough, so it should actually look more close to like something like this.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like usually a very bright, like pale yellow right at the top, and then it transitions to this sort of yellow green, and then the reds. And I think that would have given the impression of apples better than so green straight to red.
So there's only one thing that I'll say on all of that. So everybody understood the directionality of the light. Everybody understood that. So when it comes to this, I feel like he's done really well. Gas says that he loves the colors. I love the colors as
very
well.
Nice, very nice.
And the other thing I look at this, right, is at what point are you doing diminishing returns? Because you got to remember that most people will only look at a piece for like a second, 5 if you're lucky. So I think he did really well with this. I think that you guys have really good points. I agree with pretty much everything you said, Warren. And like the thing is, that's the only point that I'd like to bring out with this, because look at the size of it.
It's tiny.
And somebody's going to be like, that's a nice piece of scatter terrain. Anyway, I shoot your guy.
Yeah, I know. That is the sad part of it. Like
I know.
You can only.
And I think at least.
Yep, good, go.
I think at least in my case anyway, part of what makes me think tomatoes rather than apples is I just like tomatoes better.
I really like tomatoes too.
Well, let us move.
So I do feel. So I do feel that this is also like the difference between players that paint their stuff versus players that paint their stuff just to be able to play versus artists that paint their stuff to also play. I feel like this person is clearly an artist that also plays.
That's fair.
Versus being a player that happens to paint.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. David is saying, I thought of those expensive AF Japanese strawberries. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Japanese
but I think it's time we move on to John Gas. Gas.
Working on the staff for my Astolith bearer. I am going to a jade-ish stone color and texture. I'm nervous about the next steps. I have a metallic purple for the orb to hopefully help it jump out, and thinking about doing numb gold for the parts. Currently brown. I included one of attempts at non-metallic metal gold, just afraid it's going to look like trash. But I guess where there's a whip, there's a way.
Yep, Penguin says looks awesome, but I'm not sure if that's for this one or the previous. Larry, give us your thoughts.
I love the texture on the jade work. It really helps convey the idea that this is a stone. Excuse me. Rather than just some green metal or something like that.
Yep, please continue.
Yeah, that's... trying to think what else to say, and I lost the thought.
It's all right. It's all
right. I kind of hope he does those feathers in the same kind of feathers that he did on the lizard man there. They're very bright and colorful. I think that would be a good contrast to the otherwise almost monochrome effect of the rest of the piece. But then again, he's not finished with it. He's going to do gold, so yeah.
So Sonny just sent me a reference piece here
of the jade.
To look at jade.
Yeah.
But we'll take a look back at that, and
we'll
I'll
get Warren to comment first.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I like the jade for the most part. Um, I would like to see some brighter highlights. Um, and not in like the traditional like edge highlighting sense, but stone has random, imperfections and whatnot. So some spots are gonna have more light getting through than others. I mean, the example you just showed, you could see that there's different, there's,
The
bright lights in the
marbling.
middle, bright light in the left, bright light up in the upper right a little bit. So, I mean, I would just like to see a little more random, I guess, brightness in the stonework.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair.
But other than that, like he does have a lot of really beautiful texturing going on. I feel like a little bit more brightness would just really set it off.
Yeah.
Also, it's one of those things where, as is, depending on how he does the gold, I feel like with a bright, warm gold, it could really make it pop as is.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with everything that you say, and it is both the bane and the boon of having guests. Some of the times they'll say certain things, and you're just like, yeah, no, I just agree.
Yeah.
I agree with everything, and like I think all of you are right. Like especially Sonny and Warren talking about the jade there. I think, yeah, and.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else I have to add, so let us move on.
I didn't get to say anything.
I
did not say. I
all right,
just sent a picture.
say your words now.
So I do agree with Warren that I think if he could just add a little bit more of those like white marbled lines, it would create that jade effect, because we've had other members attempt the jade effect, and it's always a very tricky stone to recreate. And I think, like, at this point, I do feel that this is too blue for jade. It is too blue for jade. Jade is usually that sort of like almost of a yellowish green or just a primary green sort of color. But you can't do anything at this stage, like trying to tint it and do stuff. It's gonna mess it up, whatever really good work you've already done. So I think the thing to improve is to try and bring those white dividing marbling lines that you've got there, and I think that should really fix it.
So
effect.
I do believe that gas is also gas on the YouTube, and it says the plan is rainbow feathers for sure. David says the Aztec schemes are unreasonably beautiful, and we will move on to Tamaz, who has absolutely been smashing it recently.
Yes.
Like, I love these, what do you... Oh no, what has happened? The computer, it has betrayed me. Oh no. Alright, well, something has gone wrong somewhere.
Oh, there, you got it.
No, this is an update from that one, so I'm gonna have to... Facebook / no, not that one. I'm not gonna show my messages. Alright, give me a moment, guys. I'm gonna sit here and I'll bring up the cover screen for a second, and you can talk amongst yourselves.
Okay.
The cover screen is not coming up. Oh my god. Would something please
Yeah,
work?
you got it. There you go. You just couldn't do the thingy-me-bob.
Alright, sorry.
Yeah.
So, the computer has gone wrong and has decided to go against me.
Okay. John Gass, do you have anything else that you would like us to share about the piece? And maybe we could talk more on that for the time being. Wait for you to type up anything that you might have to say. Yeah, but I really liked the rainbow effect on the feathers. They look very tropical. What about you guys? Anything else that you'd like to point out with the piece, or?
I'm just trying to re-establish a blur. It's...
Do you want me to help?
No. It's none of that. It's just the computer has betrayed me. So I think we're gonna have to go to individual pictures again, and we'll just work from there. It's frustrating. All right. I'm just gonna click on this bad boy and we'll go from here. All right, so let's bring that cover down and
All right.
So here we are. Hopefully, I think this is it. Yes. All right, let's do it. All right. We will throw to you, Larry. What are your thoughts?
It's a good start on the OSL. It doesn't look like it's too strong. A lot of OSL that I see is too strong for what they're trying to do. But I do like this one.
Yeah. So we do have an update later on. So what do you guys think? Should we skip to the update later on and get Sunny to read out the post for that one and see how it's turned out, or would you guys like to comment on the whip first?
Let's get to the real deal.
Let's get to the real deal.
The
All
real
right.
deal,
So here we go. Here we go. Would you scroll up, please, and comment, read out his post?
This one? Okay.
No. Scroll up. Up. And there it is.
Okay. I feel a bit like I'm spamming now, but I couldn't help myself and had to finish the guy. They so fun to paint, indeed.
All right. Well, this is those two together. So I'll throw to Larry first, and then I'll do some scrolling.
This one's more complete, got more of the colors to it, and like I said, the OSL isn't too strong. It doesn't like flood out and wash away most of the color of the figure. It just hits where it hits, and then you see the different elements, of the figure much more cleanly.
Yep.
I guess you could say.
All right. And Warren, would you like to comment at all?
I think the piece looks really well done overall. It definitely has a feel like he's in the dark somewhere.
Yeah.
I think the OSL is really well done also, especially on the hat and his gloves and arm.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that the OSL does feel a little wonky on the shoulder pad there.
Yep.
But other than that, I think it's a really, really well done piece.
So one of the things is I really love that this is something that people are doing a bit more. They're showing off
the paints that they've used.
Yeah.
That's
and I think that that's very helpful for people. So I think that I would agree with just about everything you guys said, except like I know that it's the feature, but it feels like the color's quite intense. And I feel like that there isn't this transition. So when you guys see something lit, and I think that what he's doing here is he's going for, once again, when we talked about verisimilitude, the feeling of reality rather than reality itself, because these wouldn't be so orange lit, right? And to about maybe here along the brim, that hat would be a lot lighter. You'd see the true colors of it, and on the other side, it's shadowed. But it's a question of, do you stop and just go, all right, that's enough. Like I want, or like I'm going for this style. So I think in that case that he's done really well, especially when we see it paired with Old Mate over here, because you see that he's in quite dark colors. And then you see him being in quite dark colors, and it feels as if he's trying to show them in the darkness, but
yes.
giving them some colors. So now I need to make sure where I am before I close this. Okay, so that's the other one.
I can show you which is the post.
It's all right. I gotta. So I think this is where things went wrong, and we will.
Is it this one that's got to be next?
That one's got to be next. I'm just gonna put up the curtain for a second, guys, so that we can try and get things right. So
this is a.
Yeah. So for some reason, Facebook decided to betray me, but it's not the first time that Facebook has betrayed
It's very
someone.
frustrating.
It's it's the best of a series of bad choices that we have.
One time when I did a Henryless stream, I had a lot of trouble with tabs too.
Oh yeah, no. And for some reason, the blur just has decided to stop working. So that's why we've some of the times we have the it's doing its thing.
Okay.
We'll just
I think if you go all the way to the top there, like it did
Isn't
select
there...
the whole thing.
There's somewhere here where we
Yeah, you almost had it.
No.
Can I borrow a mouse for a minute?
You may borrow a mouse for a minute. So we're dealing with nonsense on the back end, guys. That will... Right?
That's kind of nonsense.
Technical nonsense. Why not? Why not have things stuff up midstream? You know
I
that.
think it was when I pressed along the side here that one time where it showed the full thing.
Okay, well we'll just because it just doesn't. You know what?
Because it's gonna do it manually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will.
Heck it.
I will say I'll say the words. F it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
You got it. There you got it. There you got it. There. It is a pain.
It
very,
is.
very fan of it.
Yeah, I don't like when it stuffs up. All right, let's bring the curtain down again, and we will find our place, and we will get back to it. All right, fantastic. All right, we have not totally lost our place and desperately out of order. Now, so I do believe.
Yeah, there it is.
There he
This
is.
one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is all of the Dark Crystal people together. But I tell you what, it is a blast from the past. Welcome to the 80s. All right. Would you like to read out and then throw to?
Here is the set pictures I promised, Larry.
I love it. It's pure nostalgia, but I love it. Especially with the little table there. It looks like everybody's having a party and a good time. It's got all the main characters, the Gelflings, the Skeksis, the Mystics. What are the others? The Pod People, and I forget what the lady's name is. But
you got a much better memory than me. It's just like I remember the Skeksis and the Gelflings, and then everything else is just sort of like TV static for me. It's like
TV static.
It's like the Gelflings, the Skeksis, the.
Or maybe because it was all in the dark that you don't really remember what's going on.
Well, anyway, anything else to add to this one, or should we throw to Warren?
Go ahead, Warren.
As a whole set, it looks like a really, really cool, fun piece. Again, I'm not familiar with the IP, so I'm not too familiar with any of the characters, but they all look really well done. I think the big guy in the back that he just finished looks like probably the one that looks the best.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the guy in the red. He looks really cool.
Yeah. You remind me.
I mean, as a set, they look really good together.
Yeah.
The one in red is a she.
It's a what?
It's a she.
It's all right. It's all right.
Oh my goodness gracious!
We don't discriminate.
No, yes, I can see this now. Like now that I see the features.
We will move on, but yeah, no, it's nice seeing the finished product. Speaking of, so how far away are we from the finished product?
Warduct, yes, Warren the Warduct.
I don't know. The way I work, it could be done tomorrow. It could be done next week. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this one, so I'll probably have this one finished up in a few more days because there's not really much more to do, really. I am gonna redo the knife hands. I don't.
You don't like them?
I was gonna try to make. I do. but I don't think I need more glowy things. So I think I'm not gonna change them up too much from what they are, but I'm not gonna try to go for anything that's like red hot though.
Fair enough, fair enough. So I think we talked a lot about the skin before you came on and how we really liked the skin and like the differences in the textures and such. But one of the things that I wanted to comment on, and I think you've actually put more different pictures on the Discord, is that glow effect just comes off so beautifully. But I will stop taking over and throw to Warren. Sorry, not to Warren, to Larry. There's only two of you, and I still can't keep you guys together. All right, Larry.
It's very nicely done. When I first look at it, I start thinking that poor monster man got these hands cut off and these red hot pieces of steel shoved up at the stumps. No wonder he's acting out.
Yeah, definitely with the skin.
Also, how does he use the keys?
This is a good.
That is the question.
That is a good question.
I don't think he uses the keys. I think he's more a portable rack holder. You know, like. Yeah, he's.
This is a very confusing setup. I will say. I'm just saying to myself, what is the purpose of such a creature? Why is there a glowy stone thingy at the back? Who is this? Who is this person with this tall hat? And why are people dead? And
it's an 80s metal cover, is what it
is. Yeah. So. Oh, you go. Sorry.
I was just going to say the down around his waist, he's got some flaps. Is that some leather that still needs to be painted, or is that like actually his skin?
On the big guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is his little, I guess, dress. It's just different slabs of skin stitched together.
Oh, lovely.
Okay.
Lovely.
Okay.
Interesting.
I was wondering, like, is he showing something he shouldn't? Or...
None of that.
So I just want to bring in what Penguin has said. So Penguin was commenting on the last one, which I missed, which is, from what I have heard, they're great. Some painters on the group have used their products. And he also says for this piece that the glow effects are amazing. And I have to say, like, it hits the right level. I do believe on one of the you have produced other pictures in the I think it was in the WAYPN section, right? On the Discord, was it?
Sorry.
Yeah, no. So it was only one more image, but I think like I looked at those on the Discord at first, and I was just like, oh my god, just the glow is spot on, because I think a lot of people get glow really. It's hard to get right, and also the way that you've got the crystals matching with the glow, so it's dark up the top and then it becomes brighter down the bottom. Just all of that. It's very nice, very nice.
I think the only thing I would say that I'm noticing now is that the blood is quite bright.
Yeah, it does look a bit cartoonish at the moment. What are you planning to do with the blood?
I'm not entirely sure. For now, I just threw on some of the that Army Painter's fresh blood effects just to kind of
I see.
Have the story going for it.
Seems a bit too
But yeah,
fresh.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely on the very fresh side for sure.
Yeah, it.
I'll throw this out. I grew up on Hammer horror films, so this looks fine to me.
So, Dave says, I'm thinking an ogre is attacking a mage because he was driven crazy by warpstone. I would do the blood darker with a slight gloss to it, add a shine to it. So, yeah, I think the blood is definitely the weakest point on this piece. But I think, I just think that is one thing that you're going to have to work on, because everything else is of such a higher quality, like, that it just, it becomes quite jarring. And,
for sure.
Like, it's like the problem when you get a place really super clean. I'm not sure if you guys are clean freaks. I'm definitely not, but I've worked as a cleaner before, and like when you get a place super clean, you like those little spots which are wrong are just so much more noticeable. So I think that's the case with this one. But let us move on to Ahsoka.
Update on Ahsoka. Took the advice and I did a light soft tone wash to help define. Used some mithril on lightsaber hilts. Used mulberry on some of her clothes and chest piece. Lots to do still. I have been nervous painting her. I'm not normally nervous painting miniatures. Yeah, it's probably because he's trying to go for character level.
Yeah, he's trying to step up, and
his
this
game.
is one of his favorite characters.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we'll throw to Larry, then to Warren.
The face could use a little work still.
Yeah.
I imagine he still has to do some shading on that, and so forth. I know from experience that painting Ahsoka is a real pain.
If you painted her
Mhm.
before, what advice would you give for painting Ahsoka?
Just tried to be very tidy and stay in the lines, because that was my big problem.
She's also really small, isn't she?
A little on the small side. I'm not sure if this is a Shatterpoint figure. It's not the Legion figure, which is the one that I painted.
It's Shatterpoint. It's Shatterpoint. Right.
It is Shatterpoint?
Yes.
Okay. I know for the lightsabers, I did use the scale 75 fluorescent white for the saber blades, and that turned out really nicely. They don't really the white doesn't really fluoresce so much, but it does. It's iridescent enough that it shines well under the UV light, even though it doesn't really fluoresce. And it provides a nice sheen even under regular light. So I don't know if that's what he's planning on doing, or...
Yeah, we're not too sure just yet, but I don't think he's planning on using fluorescent paint anytime.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, just be very careful when you're doing the blue lines on her headpiece there.
Oh yeah.
Because and doing the white lines on the face, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, that's
fair
completely
enough.
fair.
Fair
All right, Warren, your thoughts?
I think it's a really good start. It's got solid, clean base coats and whatnot. I would say honestly, the biggest thing is don't be nervous. It's just a little plastic figure, and it's just paint.
Yeah,
you can strip it, start over. There's nothing to be nervous about. You know, get brave, get out of your comfort zone, and have fun.
I think that's the point I'd like to end it on. Be brave, get out of your comfort zone.
Well, of a little confidence boost, James, I think you've done a really good job trying to shade the white of her hat wig thingy. I see the back of Ahsoka's head, and that actually looks pretty good.
All right, so we've got Shaku once again.
Ooh, objective marker and prop for a dungeon.
All right, so let's throw to Larry.
I like that freehand design that he did on the cloth over the top.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the corners are supposed to be glowing or if they are being lit by something. So that's one bit that confuses me a little.
That's yeah.
But otherwise, I like the coloration, the irregularity on the surface there. Indicating areas where it may have been stained at one point or another, or just in the surface of the material itself.
All right. So we'll throw to Warren unless you've got something extra to say.
No.
Okay. All right. Warren, please give us your thoughts.
For being such a small and simple piece, this just strikes all the boxes for me. I
Yeah.
love everything about this. The stonework is phenomenal. The red is dingy yet vibrant. The freehand is nice. The you know off screen OSL glow is really a nice touch. It's wonderful. I think the contrast in the stonework is really spot on.
Yeah.
And again, for a piece like you said earlier, that 99% of the people that see it are just gonna, oh, it's an objective marker. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
But it's such a beautifully done piece.
And probably something dumb like, oh, is that the symbol of Limander, or is that the symbol of Lycander, or and you're just like, I spent hours painting this up. What can you notice my work, please?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I need to know what the symbol is because I get a +5 damage.
Right.
I
All
remember
right,
this.
but no. I think you guys knocked it out of the park. I don't think that there's anything that we can add to it. The only thing I will say before we move on is I love the colors.
Oh,
Great
very
colour
much
choice.
so. Very great color choice, yeah.
All right, so next up, the War Machine Warmer Horde guys. Oh, hold up, there was a comment by David. I would make a bad adventurer. Oh, glowing altar, scary marking blood. I'm not touching it.
Penguin says so many sweet glow effects today. Indeed,
It's true.
indeed.
It's true.
Yeah,
All right.
Oh my gosh, you're safe. Okay.
Yep.
Druid Mist Riders for War Machine, all done. You would. I didn't think this was War Machine at all.
It's so Hordes and War Machine are the same game system, but they're different sides of factions. So the Horde factions are like the more magic factions, and the War Machine.
I will read the comment first.
Okay.
Yes. This is a milestone moment for me. That's the last non-modular gaming model in the house that needs painting. All that's left is painter's pieces and modular stuff I won't know how to build until I've player enough. I've been keeping a running total of what's left, broken down by level of painting required. Models remaining: batch 0, normal 5, 30mm painter's pieces 15, luxury 10, modular 56, bits box 3, terrain sets 13, 2 ship. Okay, it's very long. I didn't realize this. Did I keep going?
No, let's move on. But this, despite this being a classic look, this reminds me of Evangelion.
Right.
But we'll talk about the actual painted piece. Larry.
I like these. They're quite beautifully done. They remind me of old storybook illustrations.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
With the posing and the coloring used, and all that, and the leaves on the ground. A lot of little touches like that. It's very pleasant to look at.
Totally. Is there anything else that you have to add?
No.
All right, so I will throw to Warren.
I like the pieces. I think green and gold is a pretty big smash hit, and it's a big smash hit here too. I love the silhouettes and the drama and some of the poses some of these figures have. And I feel like the paint job really complements that. The basing really ties them in nicely.
Yeah.
I feel like they're all trampling through, a rundown forest or something together. It's really nice.
I think the only point I will bring up is that, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the paint job, but I don't really get the eco bad guys vibe from this.
Yeah, so I'm not going to get into it because, like, Hordes and War Machines, like, I think that they're a great idea, but the execution with some of the things that they want to do doesn't exactly come through. The what's it called, ludonarrative dissonance. There's a bit of that there, but that would be a very non-art rant. I think that these look good. I think that he could highlight with some of the gold. Like it feels a bit flat to me. The basing, as always, is just absolutely tops. I absolutely love it. As Warren said, you get such a feel for these guys, and like they seem to be riding off to somewhere, and you get that feel with this basing.
Yeah.
And it's just such simple, non-intrusive basing. And David wanted to say that Goat Cavalry is the GOAT.
It's the GOAT.
And Penguin says, reminds me of the Springbok rugby team. And I would clean up the edges between the colour a bit more. Age metal is a good choice.
Yeah.
All right, so let us move on. I think we're getting down to the final bits of it. Yeah,
almost there, everybody.
Almost.
Hold on.
All right, so
we got Tomas with a joke.
Yes, I think just if I can just get a round of okays for this one. Do we all agree with this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Especially after
More
streaming
more hurtful truth jokes.
Yes, more hurtful truth jokes.
Yep.
All right, and Tamaz is continuing to spam, quote unquote.
Continuing to spam.
And if you could read out what he has written.
Okie doke. The third of Hexbane Hunters done, except of base, of course. I'm not going to spam you with with just the base done, so it will be the fourth guy. Also, there is nothing fancy in terms of technique in this one, just regular paint job.
Yep. All right. We'll throw to you, Larry. Your thoughts.
The shading is excellent on the red.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
And I would say the gray for the gloves as well. I mean, it looks very natural.
Yeah.
Very, very, very well done. And it looks like I can't tell on this monitor, is that brass on the gun barrel? Looks like, yeah. Multi-barrel pistol there. It looks really good.
Brass, burnished gold. It's much of a muchness.
Yeah.
I do not know.
All right. Do you have any other comments that you would like to add?
No.
All right. So we'll throw to Warren.
The base obviously isn't finished, but is the figure itself finished?
The figure itself is finished. He said that he's finished the figure.
Okay. So I think the top half looks phenomenal. The red, the gloves, the white hair. I personally have a real big problem pulling off gray hair.
Yeah.
His gray hair looks phenomenal. By contrast, the legs, the lower half of the figure, looks
not as done.
A little less
underwhelming.
Yeah, it looks a little underwhelming compared to the top half.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, the top half is so well done that it's carrying the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would agree with what you have to say 100%. I don't really mind the way that the boots came out. I think the texture of a black leather boots really came up. But yeah, other than that, I think you're right, Warren.
Yeah, and I see, once again, it's the curse of having guests. They'll steal your thoughts from your brain and then speak them out loud.
Isn't that what you want, honey?
Yeah, yes. Pretty much. But yeah, no, I totally agree. I think if this is meant to be denim leather, just some distress would really help it pop. Because I don't think it matters if that metal's quite dark and the shoes are quite dark, but you're right. It's one of those contrast of kinds, and not in the good way, because all the rest of it is so well done, and then this comes to this, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. It's just not amazing like the rest of it is. All right, and next up we've got Nicholas Pryor, not Nicholas Future.
Yes.
I'll just let you guys know that.
Yes. It's
He's
important
not
to
from
know.
the future.
He's not from the future.
And we've seen these ones evolve on the Discord, and wow, just wow. But if you could read, please.
Finished my 500-point Fangam army for Middle Earth strategy game. Not great photos.
Then okay. You need a background.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know,
Everything's in focus.
Yeah, everything's in focus. It's not focusing on the Nullen Oil in the background. Or the Druchi. Is it?
No, I think it's Nullen Oil.
No, it's Drakenhof Nightshade.
Yeah, it looks like Dragonov.
Yep. All right, so we will throw to you, Larry.
I wish I could do wood that well. The only negative I can think of is maybe the rim of the base.
Yeah.
Could use another coat of paint.
Yep.
But otherwise, you know, I love the contrasting colors, especially the ginger one with the autumn hair.
Yeah, the ginger trees. I'm gonna start calling all autumn trees ginger trees from now on.
I really like that extra touch, especially with having all the fallen leaves down on the ground. That is a wonderful touch.
Oh yeah. But yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, or should we throw it to Warren?
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
All right, Warren, your thoughts?
As someone that struggles with making good wood colors, I'm jealous that he has 3 distinct good wood colors. I think the wood colors on each of them are really well done. They're unique, but still look like, you know, they're cohesive and belong together. I think the basing is really well done, and definitely, I mean, for being Ents, I feel like the basing is a must.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like everything looks really well done.
So,
yeah.
Before I go on to comment on the basing, I'm gonna bring up a little something a little dangerous that maybe I shouldn't, which is from one of my essentially D&D backgrounds. It's our own game, but I had 2 players running a sort of not quite solo campaign, but you know, the 2 of them are going off and causing mischief, and one of the characters they were interacting with was a child, and I just remember I wanted to put them in a tough spot, and because they're coming there to get arrows, right? The guy's gone, they've come to get the good wood. And, and the Lord's just looking at them and just thinking, you know, am I going to kill you too? Am I? And that's what it reminded me of. But the basing is absolutely spot on. I like how he's attached some of the falling leaves to his beard and such. I think that looks really good. I feel as if everything here is just really nice. I do feel that this looks a bit too orderly. The way the leaves have dropped here in almost a trail. Like maybe 1 or 2 should be over there, and that's pretty minor. Like that's not real criticism. But now it's time for punishment, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh dear.
It's
indeed.
All right, I'm trying to get in before the review, and apparently we've been going for 3 hours.
I'm sure we have.
Oh,
actually.
that is not the the image at all. All right, so
Is it not?
No, the image that I had up there was not the image at all. So I'll tell you what, guys. This is finished. I would like to get your guys' feedback on the legs. I'll see if I've got And that's the corpse of the Titan. So I think I've just got one picture for the legs there at the front, and then because I would really like your brutally honest feedback on these bits, because this is for a showcase piece. The legs are done. What else is done? I think the head. So here's the
Ooh, is this Porto Robo or whatever?
yeah, Perturabo.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Commonly known as Peter Turbo. So
Peter Turbo.
but yeah, David just said that wood can be hard. Correct. Wood can be hard. Actually, no, one of you guys did say that, didn't you? So if you guys could give me some feedback on the legs here.
That was me. I said, "Look at me hard."
Larry, do you want to give some feedback?
I really like how you on the yellow stripes. I like how you convey the idea that it's a little metallic there.
I'll grab this
the way
picture.
the way the light reflects on them.
Yeah, I was trying to go
on the hazard stripes.
I was trying to go for more light reflection than the non-metallic, but yeah. Please continue.
Yeah. See, I'm looking through all these right now. This is supposed to be like a destroyed thing, or
oh yeah,
Yeah,
the base.
like a
Yeah, I'll just
Titan
get you go to comment on the legs and then the next bit, because if like that's sort of all the feedback you got for the legs, I'll throw to Warren and then go to the destroyed bit, because there's a lot there, and I think I'll just get you guys to focus on the legs and the destroyed bit, if I could, please.
Okay. The backs of the legs, I don't have much to say. It looks really good.
Yeah.
To me, it's got a good reflection, good shine on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really hate doing those little knob things. So very well done on those.
Yeah, I know the ones you're talking about. These.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
leg pimples.
I do believe they're called magnetic bonding studs, but okay.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Those can be a real pain, because you slip once and then suddenly you got to redo the base.
Oh.
And then you slip again and we got to redo the knob again, and then back and forth.
Yeah, I'd know nothing about that. Yeah. Zero. So I think that's it for the legs. Do you want to switch with Warren, and then he can give me a hard time?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So is that gold trim work? Is that true metallic or is that non-metallic?
True metallic. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, I like it a lot. There's a lot of contrast in it, which creates a lot of interest. I like the hazard striping. I think the reflection on them is really well done. Your black looks really interesting, which I find challenging to make black look interesting.
Yeah, I think that's something that Henry really tried to focus on, is to make all these really mundane things look a little bit more interesting, because it's all just steel and
shows.
black. Yeah.
Yeah,
it shows.
He's a big block of steel.
Yeah.
He really
for sure.
So it's great that you've mentioned that, because that means he's doing the right direction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'll go. In fact, what I might do is it'll be easier this way. I'll get you to comment on the base, because you're a big diorama person. And then I'll throw back to Larry. What are you thinking of how the base looks? Because this should be it finished. I've got to do some OSL in here off his little glowing thing. I've got to do a trickle of blood, but for the most part, it's all already done.
Okay. Um,
Sorry.
I'm kind of having a hard time visualizing it because Warhammer isn't my bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Titan that's like in shambles, right?
Yeah, so give me
Okay, so
one.
one of the big guys.
Yeah, give me one moment. I'll put the cover up and then I'll get his actual model.
Hold on. Grab it for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Ref. Ah, there it is. There it is.
Oh, you got
Which one should I?
it? The third one, yeah.
Okay.
Alright, you just want to send me that?
Copy. And pay. Oh, wait. Got the wrong thing once again.
I've got him up here. I'll just do the swap. Doing the weird swap. And okay, so I'll just show
Oh, you
this
managed to
way.
get it.
One moment. I'll put the screen back down.
That's just me sending the picture.
Okay, yep. So this is how the official one looks.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll get I think this is the 360 version.
Yes.
Okay. That's the shoulder pad he's standing on then. Okay.
Yep. So, and that's the pilot in there. So,
Okay. I thought that was the back from where. Okay. I'm glad you pulled this up. Now I have a better idea of what I'm looking at.
yeah. That's completely fair. So I haven't done exactly what they've done. I've gone for a different look because I feel like it looks too rusted. It looks as if he didn't take down a Titanic foe here, but somebody who's
He
bringing.
found one that was downed.
Well, yeah, either found one that was downed or like he essentially fought a clanker, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Okay.
And what I wanted it to look more like is like, okay, he brought something down that was really impressive, but now that he's on top of it, it no longer feels as impressive because you can even see his boot marks right here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that if that's what you're trying to capture, like he just, like a fresh kill, you definitely have that vibe a lot more than the official art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna.
like it in the sense that like it definitely looks like it's a big giant piece of machinery that's been on the battlefield, all the grime and dust and everything. The weathering looks top notch.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. I don't really see. Actually, the one thing I think the bronze trim on the shoulder pad.
Yep, I'll bring that back to that angle. Yep.
Okay. Is so this piece of the base is done, you said, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say the only thing is the way you did that trim versus the trim on Pudorobo or whatever his name is.
Rubber, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's like no contrast in this, whereas in his there's an extreme amount of contrast.
Yeah. I'll get to him. So
And
you're
they
talking
seem,
about like
yeah,
here.
and they seem like they should be somewhat similar metals, so they should have a somewhat similar amount of contrast, yeah?
Yeah, so one of the reasons why I'm doing that is because the client has requested a showcase level model. And so to be honest, if we take a look at Perturabo here, all right, there's no ifs, no buts, no maybes of how I can say this. The guy looks freaking boring, right?
For sure.
He doesn't command a lot of presence, and that's why. So even here, even with these, even though they're not, big difference is I've done the muzzle burns on those because he doesn't have any muzzle burns. I've also on his body, which isn't finished yet. get to it. So I've done a lot of little extra bits. So as an example, with his body here, that yellow there. So it's going to be just like with the body, right? Quite bright there, but you'll see on the other side it dulls a bit. Yeah, so you see it gets duller once it's gone around the curve. But you see here on this body, his body just has metal plates, right? And so I did take a bit of creative license with that, because the thing is, this guy's asked for a showcase level model for their friend's birthday, and it's their brother actually, I think. But the thing is, if I bring it as it is, it doesn't
there's no wow factor.
Yeah,
okay.
and like that's meant to be a bit of an advertisement for me as well. Like I'm meant to be, showing off my talent. Sorry, hold up. There is Perry the Siegepus. The magnetic rivets are 3% more vibrant on the left. That's the only possible thing I can see is a criticism. Your dude, yours is way better. You have more color, depth, and saturation than the original. Yeah, because so what I'm hoping is that the carcass right here will look like a fresh kill, right? I'm gonna have some of that OSL coming from, so like there is a tiny bit left to do. So I've got to do some blood trickling from his skull here, and it all blown out the back, because he's got a much larger hole on the back area. Sorry, the way I put the photos up wasn't the best, because I tried to show a bit of everything up the top, because like I said, the 1%, yeah, I don't think we got an angle of that. But like even like the colorful wires, I've tried to make it like much more vibrant than this one.
Just trying to give some visual interest to otherwise monochromatic model.
But I realize that I've sort of completely taken over here, and
why don't you pick the thing that you want the guests to talk about and just get them to talk about the thing?
Well, if there's anything else you got to comment on that, Warren, because you really know your diorama pieces, and then we'll throw back to Larry.
No, I think it's a real dynamic looking piece, and you have a really fresh idea for it, so I can't wait to see it finished.
Yeah. All right, Larry, so is there anything that you'd like to comment on the base?
Well, first of all, I think it's beautifully done.
Thank you.
I'm assuming that's pigment that you've got on there for the dirt.
Yes, it is.
In the packed in dirt. Okay. I will say, to me, it doesn't feel like it's something that just got recently brought down, unless it was something that had been buried for a long time and reactivated and came up when it sensed the other guy's presence or something.
So I just,
like in the cockpit, there's a lot of dirt that's just impacted dust, like I've seen on abandoned vehicles in the desert.
Yeah. So Titans are similar in size to the mech warrior things. So when they come falling down, the dust goes everywhere. And then we'll sort of settle back down. So I think the whole idea is meant to be that this part of the Titan was shot through, and the metal cabin was thrown off, so that when he fell, like rubble fell into it. I think that's the story, but like,
oh, okay.
I'm not sure. So like it might be. Yeah, go. Sorry.
Because, like, to me, I've seen vehicles and things abandoned in the desert, and the dust piles on, and packs in there into a hard dirt, and it looks a lot like the inside of that cockpit, right up above it. But if dirt was falling into it right after it went down, that's a different story. Then yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Well, maybe what I really need to do is get out not the pigment powder, but I've also got what's that called? Tile grout, and put a little bit of grey mixed on top of the brown dirt to give the idea of concrete powder. You know, from the collapsing structures, or do you think I should just leave the brown as is?
Honestly, I think it's beautiful as is. But then I'm a big fan of the desert because I live here.
Yeah, fair enough, fair
um,
enough.
but maybe try a little bit lighter color brown if you have one.
Yep. I'm picking up what you're putting
Like more of a sand color rather than a dirt color.
Okay. Yeah. See that working out.
All right.
A light coat on top, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it that way because that's just what I'm familiar with. I wasn't familiar with the story, like you were saying.
I think
so.
The story is pretty much inferred. Like it's so messy that we ourselves are a bit confused. What the heck is going on with this thing?
And that's one of the things. Like,
Got
it's
got it.
It's one way, half a dozen the other. So, yeah, and I think that will be it for us, guys. Unless you want to comment on some of the rest of it.
Talk about.
Oh, Sunny asked if we wanted to talk about the face, so I'll just go into the face for a second. If you'd like to give any feedback on the face.
See, kind of reminds me of Wishmaster. I don't know why.
You have been in a heavy metal mood all day.
Yes, and it's getting close to October, so horror movies too. I think it's a good use of color. You've got contrasting. It's not all metal cables. It's not all red or all black. It's a combination of stuff.
Warren, anything on the face? Because, yeah. I'll just sort of end out on that one.
I kind of agree with everything Larry said. I like the colors, and yeah, looks really well done.
All right, and just before we end, I'll just throw that out there in case you guys feel worried about hurt feelings. Don't be afraid to hurt me. Please be brutally honest, because this is for a client, so I'd prefer to...
I'll just tell you why we're worried, and I'll just be honest. We've done another Primark before, and it was not as well received, and we really want to make sure that...
The client loved it.
The client loved it,
but the community that we sort of posted it on, they sort of... there's no polite way of saying it, so they sugar honey iced tea'd all over it.
Yeah, so we just want to be extra sure that we got it right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if there's anything that you wanted to add, which you felt that you haven't yet.
No.
Okay.
I've spoken my whole truth.
All right, guys. Well, I think what we'll end with on this one is just this. I want to say, guys, just remember. Oh my god, it's a mess.
It's all right. You have to finish your sentences.
Yes. No, I was just looking over there at that. I just want to say, guys. First off, thank you very much to Larry for joining us. Thank you very much to Warren for coming in. And I want to say, guys, thank you so very, very much for being a part of this community. But the thing that I want to say to you guys is something that Warren reminded me of when we were doing this. That this is an art form. That you're not just people painting figures, right? You can just paint army men, but what I want to do is just end out on this absolutely magnificent piece and just say it can be just painting toy soldiers. It can. But some of the times, something more. Some of the times, it's a message to someone you love. Some of the times, it's you pouring your heart and soul into something and getting someone to see you. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep those brushes wet. Bye-bye.